Welcome back to the 2023 PQ2 Round 2. That's right, the Pro Qualifying Tournament in San Francisco with our EJ team on the ground. On behalf of the American Go Association, working with the San Francisco Go Club. Really exciting matches happening there right now to crown the new pro. Up soon, we have some great commentators. We have Paige Lemaster and Triton Perrin, who's a streamer. I think you guys should know both of them. Yeah, we're going to be covering round 2 for you guys. We'll probably skip around a little bit more this time. We're going to try to cover 3 games in total. But we're going to give these guys a break, hopefully once an hour, and yeah, have a lot of fun. So, definitely drop a lot of cool comments in the chat. I'll try to highlight for you guys as the stream goes, and hopefully get good interactions for each other. We're all here to watch and have this exciting time. Looks like we have 50 viewers right now, which is huge for starting off a stream. Yeah, I mean, this is just so I'm pumped. I've been talking with the guys in the house. We have a watch party downstairs. It's super fun. So let's start our own watch party and bring in the stars. So hey, Paige, hey, Triton, how you guys doing?
Hi, pretty good.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty fine today.
Yeah, good. Have you guys caught any of the early games?
I've been kind of watching the 1 hour.
Yeah, I'm going to give you and chat a live update of what happened because I don't have it on the website yet, but it'll be up there soon. I got a photo from the EJ live, so let's look at this. So in Group A, it looks like we have a win from Michael Chen and Stephen Lin and Yinli Wang, Audrey Wang. And so those guys pulled off some wins. And then in Group B, we have a win from Eric Yoder, and he was playing Jeremiah Donnelly. Kind of tilted early. We had to find some stuff to talk about during it, but I think Jay, he just texted me and said, "Hey, I'm getting serious mode." So hopefully he kind of picks up his game. And then we have Joel Kenney with the win. So let's start you guys off with Joel versus Florencia, who had a bye, and that'll be exciting to see kind of what his strength level is. He's been a mystery player, so but feel free to hey, Jay's in the chat. He must have a bye this round. Jay's not in the chat while
he seems upset about having the bye though.
Yeah, but you guys, I'll let you take it off and have fun. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Hey, awesome.
Cool. Let me see. Yeah, so we also don't really know anything about how Abraham plays yet, so this will be.
Yeah, I've only seen one game from Abraham. He played Eric Yoder in NAOL a while back, and he did end up winning. So, but that's all I know about him. And Joel Kenney, I only just met at Congress before, so. But so far, the opening of this game's been very complicated. I don't know anything about Joseki.
I really hate Joseki stuff. I don't like it at all. But I've never seen B8 move either. Normally, you see like a B16 or B17 sort of thing, but I guess this is probably possible.
I don't know anything about this variation.
I have no idea.
I would do the crosscut Joseki sometimes in our house. But it's complicated. It's very complicated.
a little too much for me. I always try to avoid it in some way. Sometimes I'll just snooki the pincer instead too. So.
Oh yeah. I do too. Though I like when my opponent snookies the pincer. I like to follow up with it.
Yeah, Nilo's on. I think B16 is a little bit more common. And someone said it might be a trick move. It might be. There might be some sort of trick here, like with the B7.
Well, I know. So the thing is, White does have a lot of ways out from this group. Like this is an obvious out because obviously, if White Atari's here, you're gonna get into this kind of thing, right? Like it's not gonna be easy to kind of kill it. So.
Yeah, Black was a move on the outside.
So you don't have to deal too much with worrying about dying. I mean, obviously you have other ideas as well. I mean, if there is a trick, maybe it has something to do with like wanting white to play this move, I'd imagine. But I don't exactly see what the trick is, so.
I think, yeah, I don't know. It just like B16, it just feels like he's gonna force him to live small there.
Yeah.
But it as just cut on the outside, so it's not too big of a deal. I wonder if he can do something like a B16 directly with white. Would be interesting. I don't know. I did not read it.
You get this kind of situation. Yeah, you don't have the liberty to play this way.
I thought you'd back off once, but
yeah. However, also white also wants to avoid having to play this one, because if white plays this one, you're obviously going to be weakening your outside stones as well. So it's kind of more like a last resort. So obviously you want to try to find a way on the inside first. No, is it lagging again?
No, I think the people in chat are saying that something with the audio is a little choppy, a little
Yeah.
and
It's doing it the first time too.
And it's not Discord, guys. So it's not that. Sorry.
We're not on Discord. Assuming you can understand what we're saying.
Assuming, yeah.
Oh, it's
I think
Triton,
it's only me? Okay. I'm going to listen then. I got this.
Only Triton. I mean, is it only Triton? Can you guys understand what I'm saying?
I do hear clicking and stuff from your microphone, but I think it sounds like you're playing with something.
I haven't got anything.
That's what it sounded like a pen clicking sort of thing. Both sounded bad.
I couldn't hear the clicking, but I thought that was something else.
Very sad.
There's also a bit of volume difference. Paige volume is really low compared to Triton. I also thought my volume was really low, but
sure they'll figure it all out.
Much better than round one sound, at least.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that matters.
The more important commentators got the
Oh, yeah, for sure. I like that he's taking a lot of time for this move, though, because there is a readout.
Oh, yeah, this is I would definitely consider this a complicated move. I think kind of what Paige said is the right way to think about it. It is kind of tricky. So it is obviously something that white is going to have to think about. Because obviously you don't want to fall into any tricks this early into the game.
Oh, especially not this early.
Maybe my closer.
Yeah, where would you play?
Where would I play as white? Well, I would still want to do something on the inside, so I guess it would probably be.
I really want B17, but I don't know if it just feels like you're falling into the trap, right? That's why I don't want to play it, but it feels like the only move.
Yeah, again, because we don't want to play on the outside. But we could also probably do stuff like this also. I think that's an option. Because we still have kind of like the same idea. And also, if black plays like this one, it's a little different than it once was.
Yeah.
Maybe not, actually.
Yeah, it seems like...
I don't know. That's very odd. Okay, that's too deep.
Too much.
Yeah, that's hard to read. Okay, so maybe just B17.
But can we live locally with
B17 is the wrong idea.
So it's what he wants is probably B16 and Sinte so he can come out on the other side.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want white to play B14, right?
Does that work out as being good for white? Well, I didn't say it was good for white. It was just me attempting to see if I could clearly see something quickly. Oh, I can hear you. Okay. I'll try. It's kind of like a
flexible arm.
Place. Yeah, it's not like a flexible one, but hopefully that helps. Okay, good.
Do you have any software for controlling the volume stuff, or is that all the way? was wondering what page, like her volume.
Oh no, I don't.
Okay.
I
Sometimes in
don't
the
even know how to like use my own headset.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
Nobody knows what to do exactly. How is that not cuttable? And my
Yeah,
idea
it's
is
very
just
complicated.
he wants.
I want to play this
Joel.
move so bad because it's like
Yeah,
I feel like it's the only move, right? I mean, like obviously you have the idea of clamping as well, but I don't think it's
Mhm.
going to be very good. Because even then, it still falls under the same idea that black can just connect,
Mhm.
and now maybe you're not even getting as great a position as before. But I'd imagine it's probably just something like this.
Well,
But I
I
can't
think
imagine what the follow-up would be.
Albert said just connect on the outside. F14.
F14, just connect on the outside, really?
Yeah, that's what he said. Because you can push and cut. So if he plays one more move on the left, you push and cut and get
That's
a bunch of
true. That's
influence.
true.
Right?
So now, if black actually just comes back and fixes that weakness that's left there, now it's not as big of an issue.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Oh, well, I
Yeah,
can't do
there's
that
one
still.
less liberty.
Can't do that still, but you can do this.
One,
I don't think they
something
can
like
do this
that,
still, right?
yeah.
They can't do
not
this
yet.
still because even if you tried to thin the liberties out by forcing,
Well,
you
if
still
taking the
get-
outside is good enough, right? But maybe not.
Yeah, definitely not
there's
good
the
enough.
well, there's the I know with like B16, often they can try to play something like B14 to try to force them to capture on the inside.
Yeah.
So is there a possibility of like doing like a weird attachment at like B15 or B14, something like over there? Because that would be kind of interesting.
Do you mean
Force
like
them to
after
swallow
this
things,
variation?
or even before. Just something there to force him to capture if you can't find out the right way to continue.
Well, you could definitely force.
Get thick on the outside, then cut
wait,
at
hold on.
F17 or
Let's try
something.
Okay, so first. Oh, okay, hold on. They actually quit the move.
Oh,
Okay, so
good.
he Atari'd. Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, we're going back. What's going on?
Okay.
Oh,
so
he pushed?
Played F16, I think.
Oh, wait.
No, he didn't.
We'll just wait. I guess we just have to
yeah,
wait about this one.
we'll wait until figures out what the move is.
Yeah. Okay, we'll wait till it stops moving around. Just the one push. Okay.
Okay, is he pushing? I
It
don't know
seems
how
like
I
it.
feel about this push.
No, I think I like the connect a little bit
oh.
more. Oh, see, it went back to the connect. What the heck?
I like the connect as well. I think the connect is really smart.
Hmm. We'll just wait and see, I guess, what's going on.
You think that's happening because of all the variations I put on the board? Okay,
It
no,
should
no.
be
Now
fine.
they got it. Okay, they got it.
Okay, there we go.
figured
Push
it
and
out.
cut.
Push and cut immediately.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how I feel about this. If white cannot come back and get, if white can come back and get F14, then I think the outside is actually good here then. But
Yeah.
if white cannot actually come back and get that connection, and if black gets any chance to ever push through there, because obviously, you know,
the timing's gonna be hard.
yeah, it's gonna come down to a lot of timing. Timing is gonna be extremely important. Yeah, you can watch the games by going to OGS and under the US Go account. At the bottom, you can see the demo boards.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I guess the question here now is how many times does black need to push?
I think black needs to push one more time after J18 to be comfortable.
Because now black needs to... So I mean, like, can black actually start the Atari here, right? Can black just do like this?
I think I would want to push one more time
again?
first.
But now
Because
you
if white
kind of
connects now,
that white connects, right?
I feel like the Hane is good though, right?
Yeah, though I mean the Hane is good, but
it feels good at least. Abraham used 15 minutes and Joel used 3. Oh, okay, that's good to know actually.
I'm not surprised. White spent a lot of time on that move, but I think this is white stuck between a rock and a hard place. I think B18 it was a really genius trap.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's looking like, at least.
Yeah. Because it really is going to come down to either letting black get the Hane or letting black push out. Okay, so black did choose to go through.
Okay.
At least I assume that is what's happening.
I'm guessing, yeah. Well, there's the green move, right? Let me look at my board. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard for me to decide these sorts of things with if I should do it right away or not. Are we changing things
all
again?
the way back.
Okay, no, they just, okay. They were deleting things. Didn't white collapse here? Yes, I think so. Let's close these. There we go. Not in the way for me. If it keeps moving, it makes it
yeah.
tricky.
It's a little confusing. It's a little tricky. This has to be the variation, though. I assume. I assume this is what's happened.
Yeah, the 7 feels way too good for black. Just connecting the outside, I liked that idea from Albert.
Yeah.
Just connect and you're fine. Then you can push through, or you can go back to the corner.
Yeah, like leave yourself options, and it feels like this way, white has kind of removed all of their options.
Oh, I see what's going on. It seems like they're clicking on the variations that Albert just posted.
Yeah, maybe they're clicking on the variations to have them posted.
That seems to be what's going on here.
I think this
Nomir
corner
took
is
his
way too
Hamate.
good for. This corner is definitely way too good for black.
Well, if white was able to surround, it would be a big corner, but not too big of a deal. But being pushed through, it just there's too much strength for black now.
And
You
this
got
is
corner
kind of what
and
I was
center.
saying about, like, because letting black at this may not be as bad as letting black push through there, right?
Yeah, it's hard for me to judge, but I really like Hane, but pushing through is still painful. So
Yeah, I just think the thing is that white will not push at L17 again if black presses again.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, F13 does look really silly. I agree. It looks like it's in a weird place. It looks like you're trying to like poke a peep somewhere, and then it just.
But you could have pushed and cut instead, right?
Yeah.
It's like, really bad visit. A useless move, a bad move there. But yeah, this is why I wanted to push one more time. It's because white can get the turn. At least it seemed like it. But it's fine. It's not a big deal.
We have to recognize that because we're assuming that.
Yeah, this is not going to be that important.
Yeah, it's not that important. In fact, I'd imagine that white probably wouldn't play that because we know that white's probably going to live without that.
If they were going to play over there, they'd play on the other side more likely.
Yeah, we know that this is very likely going to live. It's already got one eye here. It's got one eye. And it's not going to be very difficult to make another one. Plus, we have ways out. We can go in this direction. And if black decides that they want to play this way, we also, like from the center, like maybe like a knight's move at J13 for black, then we could always come back to the top side to make our second eye. So I think
what would be the next move for you now? I guess is a good question because like
I would probably leave the position at this point.
Would locally, not locally, but just where on the board. Because like what I want to do is I because of that strength, I kind of want to reinforce the left side, but it feels a little slow because of the upper left.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably slow to play on the left side. I would probably play the same move as white here,
this one.
Or I would probably just approach the bottom right stone. I guess maybe he didn't play.
We don't know. We're just here going for the ride as well. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, I would probably play R14 as well, or approach the bottom right side. But I would definitely not play O17 because you're just not going to get a lot up there. It's not important anymore. Yeah. The turn is good though because it was Sente. It was Sente, so it's good to get it. But just leaving it is the best. The best at that point. But I think R14 is really the best local move within the same side of the board, at least.
Same side, yeah.
Yeah, like
Well, you want to try to apply at least a little bit of pressure to something here, and then move on somewhere else if you can. And I feel like this is the only way to use the strength that he got, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'd feel really bad right now. I guess this would probably make him go and study B18 now.
Yeah, I'm gonna study VAT now. I'm curious.
I want to know.
But
Yeah.
another thing about approaches, though, one thing that we have learned with
Mhm.
AI versus not having AI is that the simple approaches like O17 and R14
Mhm.
is that they're actually not as severe as they were back then, right? Like
Yeah, well, even the
even though
double
Black
approach is not severe anymore.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So even though Black did play O17, Black probably didn't have to play O17. Like Black could have played away and probably still been fine. I think that was also an option.
Yeah. But I think I like my preferred method, of course, is always just play as simple as possible, especially if I gain a very large advantage. You don't have to play, you have to back off, but playing the simple move is the way to move on with the game, in my opinion.
Well, there
So
are some
backing off.
really great, there are some really great variations just
Mm.
when you allow your opponent to double approach you. And I think that's what
Yeah.
makes it so good is that there are some really great variations that Black can play when your opponent spent 2 moves to approach you. So I actually often like when my opponent double approaches.
Hmm.
Some of my very favorite variations are played that way.
Well, I would think he might not double approach in this case. He'd want to try to do something else to use the
Yeah, he may be more
strength. Yeah.
severe at like R17, right? Like he may just
Mhm.
enter the corner straight away. So if Black played away, if Black played like something like this, like the knights we were talking about, White may actually even just straight jump into the corner instead of like this. However, the problem with this is you do get into situations like this, where you can actually treat those stones incredibly lightly, and let's just say Tanuki.
Hmm.
This is also one of my favorite variations for Black.
Yeah, why did you Kama, Dongja? it was just a move so we could Tanuki. Okay, it's all good.
It was just an example.
Actually, that would have helped the variation locally, so it's fine. Get stones closer. It's perfect.
I mean, I guess the right move for Black probably would have been instead of the Kama, it probably would have just been to play J14, right? Because it threatens the Atari.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I think the Kama was fine too. It just as throwing it out for the example, right?
Hmm.
But I do wonder, how does Black play from here?
Should they just back off and take the corner? But it doesn't feel good. I want to take influence if I can, but it's hard to fight here, right?
I kind of wish that Black had kicked instead.
Yeah,
But maybe
I actually really like the kick.
Yeah, kick into kick into like something like that maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel I'm kind of uncomfortable as Black. I mean, it should still be fine.
You
but
buy
I would feel
CCD
slightly
AI, yeah.
uncomfortable. I do think that the upper left is just so devastatingly rough. So rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would want to, as Tong just said, or I would want to sort of take the outside as well.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of my intuition, but I also thought, taking the corner should also be fine, but I don't know. Just settling is probably not going to be bad for Black.
Oh yeah, settling is perfectly fine for Black. I think settling is just a fine result.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we know that K17, even though K17 has a lot of directions to escape to and play from, it is still good to recognize that it is still not alive. Just because we have obviously know that there are directions that it can run, but that doesn't make it alive until White actually has that second eye. So I think it's actually fine to have these stones and to just simply make life, and then say, yeah, I'm solid here now, I'm alive, but are you alive, kind of thing,
Yeah. I like I don't know. I'm very biased towards getting a center strength, so I always like to try to be solid and take as much influence as possible, even when I'm ahead. When in these sorts of variations, like the corner here, like instead of settling locally, sometimes I like to just create as much power as I can with the stones, so that my opponent doesn't have it. Basically.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know how to define my style right now. It's kind of all over the place.
We're working on it. That's the style. You're working on it. Yeah, yeah.
It's in a constant change right now, and I won't stop whining.
Well, I'm trying to define exactly the style I like to play, and so I'm looking at the
Yeah.
pros that I think play the way that I want to play, and that sort of thing. So maybe I'll be able to figure it out by the next Congress.
Yeah, I hear advice all the time from Eric and advice all the time from Jay,
Mhm.
and I try to take it, and so I guess like I probably got a mix of like Jay's style and Eric's style in my brain, and I'm just trying to do them both at the same time.
Yeah, I think that could be good, I guess, because Jay is more of a fighter, and
Yeah,
well, I guess Eric does a little bit, but yeah, you get one very aggressive and one not as aggressive. Should be good.
So, like we had talked about, so we do know that this group, like, it still has it still has ways out, and we know that there's a very likely chance they're gonna be able to create an eye here, and that's obviously, like, I mean, like, if just as an example again, this is obviously going to be an eye, right? So White is saying that they can come back to the right side. They don't have to worry about the top side yet, which is fair.
Yeah. And I don't know if Black can be attacked, but it would be nice if N18 could be a nice attack on Black. But it looks like he can probably just easily live very nicely there. So just play somewhere else now. I don't.
Yeah, I
just go to the bottom left now.
Yeah,
or enclose the corner.
Well, Black has a lot of options, right? If Black does feel like this area is not important enough yet, we've got some enclosure options. We've got some approach options. Okay,
I was
so Black
really
chose
wanting
the approach.
I really wanted that left side.
Yeah, I feel like he chose the good one. I do feel like he chose the good one. I think taking the split is really good, especially since we know that earlier White got into a really weird position that ended up splitting their stones, so Black is taking the split.
But
However,
here,
I will say I'm pretty sure White will pincer. There's no way that White doesn't pincer.
Yeah, I was about to say. I kind of wanted to be a little bit more direct on the two stones instead of approach the corner. That's a personal style preference, I think. So.
Well, so the thing is, so if we say that Black was more,
I probably wouldn't go that close,
stones,
but something over there, yeah.
You have to recognize that those two stones, even though the idea is that you want to split them, if you split them too close, White can just treat them lightly.
Well, the problem that I have here is that if Black just takes the corner and plays a simple variation, it does look like those two stones can now be useful. That's all I'm worried about, is allowing them to become useful eventually. Like he's going to take the corner now, it looks like, yeah.
Yeah, well, but
I think it's going to be fine, but that's just I said that's how I like to play. Is I don't want to allow him to turn bad stones into almost good stones, right?
Well, we have to remember that, like you said you wanted to make them kind of not useful. I think that they were going to be useful regardless. Again, if we make a close approach, White just choosing to treat those lightly, that is still a use. Like, that is still making them useful. And I guess in this case, we can say, for Black, I actually think Black chose the right variation here. White's gonna have to come back and fix, obviously, and so is Black. But the thing is, these weaknesses here are always going to be really prevalent. And Black can always jump in at like B12 to just reduce the territory if they want to. So at the end of the day, are they really more useful than they already were? And I would probably say not really.
Well, I like a more mutual destruction type of idea, because here, as I said, there's a possibility of White getting a larger amount of points versus if you try to attack them. White can get the corner, but you also have another corner that you could get. So it seems more balanced to me. That's how I like to play. Yeah.
I think another really important thing is that we have to remember that the stone is in a really awkward position.
It's really bad.
which makes us wonder, is it worth killing? If we kill it, then it becomes, if we kill it and the opponent is actually getting something from it, then we could argue that it's actually a fine stone because black removed the fact that it was a bad move once it's captured, right? Maybe at the time it was bad, but black capturing it might make it less bad, because black might be like, okay, this is really important for me to kill. But if we leave it on the board, like right now, it still holds the fact that the value of that stone isn't that great, right? I think that's another thing to think about when you try to split those stones or try to play closer, is just that maybe you want white to hold on to the idea that, hey, you played this really bad move. You kind of have to live with it now.
Yeah, live with this. Live with your decisions.
Yeah.
Yes. And someone asked, can you explain why the ideal approach side idea a little bit more? Like, why was that the best? Why do you think that was the best side to approach on?
Because it's the most. I think the best way to explain it is it's the side of the board that white is more likely to. White is more likely to respond on, right? If you play, like, if you had played an approach yourself, just really quick, if you had played or not an approach, if you played like an enclosure yourself, white doesn't feel that is urgent. So white's not going to like suddenly respond close and be like, yeah, I really need to get this from you. They may come back and fix their own weaknesses, right? Like, I'd be happy to come back and fix that.
Well, what about F3 then? I think that's what they were also wondering.
F3? Well, then it's too easy for white, right? Because
just
then we can, pretty much start to link up these stones without having any trouble. As to where by playing C6, we're telling white, this side of the board is urgent. We're playing there, and we're gonna make you respond to it.
So you go, Leo. There's the answer.
Yeah. So we're trying to, when we're choosing our moves and picking where we need to go, we want to pick a side. We want to try to pick something that's urgent, and we want to make it urgent for both players, right? Like, if it's urgent to us to play there, then we want to make it urgent for the opponent to respond. Otherwise we're losing tempo, right? The idea in Go, in my opinion, is to keep tempo as much as possible. And if you play like an enclosure, then you're generally trying to, like, when you play an enclosure, you're generally saying to the opponent, I'm letting you pick what you want to do, rather than taking control of the game.
But
I
do think
C6 is the most powerful way to take control of the game.
I do think there's some good questions about this next move here, actually, because like I also don't agree. I don't like this move necessarily for white to approach on this side. It feels like it's the non-important side, and just taking the 3/3, or even the R6, I feel like a little bit more. I like a little more, but just taking 3/3 seems good.
That's a good question. I'm actually not sure. I don't mind O3. I think it's kind of similar to the idea of C6, right? Because we know that black wants the bottom side. And playing R6 I think it's hard to choose.
I don't like for me, I like because you're going to probably push black down at some point, so it feels weird to approach on that side if you're going to push them, if you want to flatten them later.
Yeah.
So now you probably won't be doing that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think all three moves are okay. I think all three ideas are fine.
And actually 3/3 is best, yeah, of course. right, Jay. That's important. Always best move. I gotta be honest, I really don't like this Joseki at all. Just in general, I don't like playing it.
I used to not like playing it, but I've gotten used to it. I
think the end results are always fine, but I just don't like it. I want to play something else most of the time.
That's one of the reasons I like letting my opponent double approach.
Yeah, because I would rather them double approach too.
Yeah, I think we need to highlight as well. One really important factor that we need to highlight is look at the territory difference between black, and I don't mean like, look at how much territory black has in this corner. I just mean like look at the difference in size between white. So when we look at white's groups, almost all of them are pinned down at most like the second line. I mean, here you've got a high, maybe you got
there's
like a third
small
line.
Amount of potential on the left, but it's hard to keep that potential.
Yeah, so right now you're very pinned down to the second line as white. White really needs to kind of try to find something more. Definitely needs to break out to some third line territory. Because that corner is looking devastating.
Well, and here, like, I don't want to push up as white because I feel like, yeah, there we go. He did the jump. Yeah, I feel like pushing up here, the peep and all that sort of stuff is going to be really annoying.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Yeah, a little bit sad. So I like this choice.
I do like playing
Black.
M3 as variation. I do like playing M3 as white though.
Yeah, I prefer it.
This is the variation I like getting.
But with the push and the what they always call it the AlphaGo Joseki, I don't like any of that, especially here on this board. You feel for white. This is so sad. I feel for white. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I do think, however, this is a little hard for white. I agree though. Like, but it's so hard to do anything, right?
Or do they do 2 space instead? They switched it. Okay. Yeah.
2 space. That's.
I thought it was 1 space at first, right? It was. It wasn't just me.
Well, 1 space is the correct variation.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait a minute. This is
L3
probably
does
still
leave a lot of weaknesses behind, but I guess maybe white's feeling the pressure. Like maybe they feel like they don't have enough points, so they're just like, I've got to make up for my loss by playing some larger extensions, something greedier, right? Because when you think about it, black's actually not showing too many weaknesses, right? Like when you look at it, black's weakest group is arguably this one, and it's not that weak, you know. So there's not a lot that white can do. Time to move to another game. So we were told to focus on one game.
But if they're okay with it, we can move.
I heard that was what the crowd wanted, so had wanted.
I know. If they say it's fine, we can move to the other one.
If Devin says it's fine, yeah, we can.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. We can swap to another one.
Yeah,
Is there a specific one you want us to swap to? Okay. 10-minute break.
Close your eyes and imagine a place where you can eat, sleep, and breathe go here in the United States. Now open your eyes again, because this place is real. The Baduk House Residency is a program based out of Columbus, Ohio, but accepts applicants from all over the world. Study, learn, and grow together with other like-minded Go players for a whole month. The best part is, this program is free. Free room and food is available for all participants. However, 15 to 20 hours a week of volunteer work relating to the Go community is required. Start your next adventure in Columbus, Ohio, and get on the path to improvement within a community at apply.baduk.club.
All right, cool.
Okay, there we go. We're back.
Yes. We're back
water.
for now.
All right, so we decided to go over the Yinli versus Nate game. So we took a quick look at the opening, and we'll go over it quickly for you guys. Just a quick run through of it.
Because it seemed like sort of an interesting game so far.
Yeah, it kind of just looks like it actually kind of looks just like a fight of splitting groups.
Yeah, I would be very worried, but
yeah.
C and J thinks it's rather tough for white, I guess. But on the break, we were thinking that we both felt like white wasn't too bad here.
Yeah, I still don't think that white's too bad. I do think that this cut is really big, though. Maybe H5 was greedy. Maybe H5 was greedy.
Yeah, the cut feels really nice.
So I think what white's idea was probably to basically try to keep up the pressure. Because obviously, if we come back and fix our own weakness, at like say we come back and fix our weakness here, right? Black does feel a little bit more comfortable, but I feel like trading off for white, to trade off our own comfortableness to attack black is not smart.
I always like to control, as I've mentioned multiple times, I like to control the center as best I can. So letting black get this cut feels like black's going to be the one in control of the fight now.
Yeah. It's just kind of also another thing is, I think it can be a really greedy response to believe that that by sacrificing your own or by creating more weaknesses for yourself to exploit your opponent's weaknesses is not very smart. I think it's just better to often come back and fix your own weaknesses before trying to use your opponent's weaknesses against them. Especially when you're fighting in the same area, you know. Otherwise, you're both just going to take turns exploiting each other's weaknesses.
Yeah. So someone said, "Does it G11 work?" And I think it looks like a very annoying move. Yeah, White has to be very careful.
Yeah, so White does need to watch out for that, because if we assume that White Atari's here, and then let's say White continues pushing, this is actually a possibility. Yes. So that is kind of something that White does need to watch out for.
And even just letting Black have that other stone though feels bad. So.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what makes it so hard for White in this case, is like there really isn't an amazing response, right? So all you can really do is let Black have that one stone.
Yeah, it feels really bad. Can we?
Yeah, you kind of have to give up that one stone and kind of accept your fate as White in this case. But obviously, you want to do that optimally, to better your chance of making it come back later. So
if White can take the strength in the center and then come back and kill off the 2 stones to get a large territory on the bottom, maybe that can still be okay. But it feels like the center was more important. Right, randomly collapsed in one move.
I think that that's one of the reasons that I think H5 was so greedy, right? Because when you think about it, when Black gets this cut, White's going to have to come back in and live with their their H9 stones. Those cutting stones are just way too important. They have to come back and live with their F12 stones. Are you really going to ever have time to come back to actually turn that bottom into territory? Before Black gets the chance to come back down there themselves. And if Black gets a move down there, you know that Black's going to have a lead 100%.
Yeah, and it just feels like if I feel like White lost one move basically. That's how I sort of feel in this situation. A move that's not really doing enough.
Yeah.
So now we do have to figure out the right move to play, though. Do you just think just Atari and push?
Yeah,
the only option?
Yeah, she has to Atari and push. I don't think there's any other option. Yeah, there really isn't any other option.
I kind of want to. I guess Black's going to respond no matter what you play. So I guess you should just try to use that stone right away.
Yeah, like regardless of what you end up playing, Black is going to play locally, right? Because Black wants to fix their weaknesses, and I think that's going to be a big difference, right? Black is going to come back and fix his weaknesses in a case where White should have come back and fix their own weaknesses.
Yeah, because what I sort of want to happen is, of course, being able to Atari over the top and give up the 2 stones instead of the other stone to get the outside. But you just need one more stone in the center first, and that's just I don't think you can get that anywhere in Sente. So
yeah, I think that's the other issue, right? It would be fine to give up the 2 stones and to try to gain strength towards the right side, but at the same time, I think you can't.
Yeah, it's not good enough right now.
Yeah, you would have to worry about being surrounded. You would definitely need to be worried about this group getting surrounded. It does not.
And you can't do something like K13 because you all want to leave the option of attacking the other group. So you don't want to use any forcing moves against that one, especially after making a mistake like this. You want to leave options open a little bit there.
Also, I don't think there's any clear way. So like like say when you poke J13, I don't think it really changes.
That's why I wanted K13 if I could, the attachment up top, because that one's a little bit more in the right spot.
Yeah, I do agree, but I also
you just can't use it yet.
There's really not a lot you can do as White, because I feel like White can still actually, Black can actually still come back and just take these 2 stones, right? And Black always has this option to try to cut you off. You know?
They need to be a little bit weaker in order for it to work, basically. Oh
wow.
See, so I understand the idea. I get it, but that's interesting. Is that
so? I wonder if white is aiming to do this, to try to make the K12 jump Sunday. I don't like it though. I don't like it.
Oh, as I said, the only move I could think of was K13 as being maybe something possible, but this is even more dramatic. I think this is
Yeah.
way more dramatic than that. That's okay. I don't see how I don't even need. How do you think black needs to respond like you were showing the Hane? They can just cut through and be fine.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
if they
we could
do
always
respond,
go
it
back
feels good,
to,
right?
We could also always go back to what we said, right? Because we know
Yeah.
that if black just responds, the result isn't any different, right? Black still
Yeah.
gets to cut through this.
Stylish, yeah, very stylish, yeah.
But black decided to push towards the top side.
Yeah, there's no reason not to respond though, because there's no forcing move to get what you really want in the center here.
Well, something else that's really cool to think about is why is black choosing to push towards the top side? We actually know that there is still weaknesses left behind at these points. Because we know that if, again, just as an example, let's say white adds a move somewhere.
Hard
Okay.
to do the move, yeah.
Yeah, just as an example again. We know that if black plays this move, black can get the corner. Or start to kind of exploit some of the outside weaknesses. Now, obviously, ideally, black wants to get this move, but the position isn't set up for that. So what black is trying to aim for is to get white to kind of push black further up towards the top side to start exploiting that weakness that is there.
Yeah, and so you don't want to get surrounded as white here, for sure.
Yeah.
And you don't really want to play any more moves in the center either, so you feel just really bad right now. Because like I really want that first of all, the L14 move. I think I said I understand the idea because they sort of wanted the same thing I wanted.
Yeah.
But now you want to play like K17, like that's the natural feeling move next.
Yeah.
So, but it feels bad because like your L14, not sure how useful it is. And if they're coming back now to Atari, it feels like that exchange. I'm not really certain how good it is. Maybe after the push they can jump back and that can be a little bit of an I-shape exchange.
I am actually glad that white did come back to this because I do think this is the only thing that white can do, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So I think in this case, like, okay, white maybe made a slight blunder with L14. Because you gave black K15, which makes them a little stronger towards the top side. But it's not that bad, right? It's not egregious. You don't have to keep continuing to make those mistakes. You can now do something different. So I think white made the right decision. Sure, I made that small mistake there. That's fine. I'm going to go back and continue playing the normal way, and hopefully this move I can utilize it later.
Oh, someone said the game might end soon. Yeah, maybe.
I do think that black has a point advantage at this point.
Yeah, it seems very, very difficult for for white. Now let me see what it says here. Yeah, it says there's a pretty large difference.
Yeah.
But is there any option that black can try to, or that white can try to aim at? There's one other weak group, but it's hard to do anything against it, I think.
So I think one huge issue is that white has a lot of things that they want to do, right? Like they want to come back and be able to play K17, so white doesn't have to worry about these issues anymore. White wants to be able to fix this weakness. White wants to link up these stones. White wants to add another move down here or something, anything down there, right? So that's the unfortunate part is white, white has a lot of injuries that they need to think about, and white's going to have to lean on those injuries a lot, and baby them and watch them all the time. It's a very hard game for white now.
So white just has to be a little bit risky from now on, probably.
Well, I mean, the saying is that you should always play the best move and not be greedy and wait for your opponent to make the mistake, because that is a better chance than trying to force them to make a mistake.
Well, in this case, when I say risky, I mean don't invest too many more moves in the center try to tanuki the earliest possible opportunity you think you can instead of investing one more time, right?
Yeah.
Like I like to control, I said, like control that center area if I can. So I would usually spend one more move there, but maybe better to go try to do something on the bottom. Try to use it's difficult because there's too many cutting points, but try to use the cutting stone in some way, threatening something. I don't know, but it feels bad.
Yeah,
see,
it
now-
does. It does. It does. Because we can
Now
see
black
here
just
that white's
jump
like,
return.
we can see here that white's like, okay, I really want to come back. Now, what's really cool about this is that the further we push out with these stones,
Mhm.
the less that this becomes a weakness. And
Yeah.
the reason for that is because, let's say black decides they want to come back there now, and white fixes this. Everybody's probably like, well, doesn't white have to connect here? Not actually.
No.
So the thing is that those two stones are actually really small now. So realistically, is it a weakness still? Maybe, but is it a big weakness? Not really, because white can actually just give up these stones at any time. So that's why they chose to come to kind of link up these stones rather than to come back and fix this. So white is kind of making their weaknesses more less or more controllable, easier to control, basically.
Yeah, and as someone said in the chat, black did just get a big potential moyo.
Yeah.
Black can just play one more move on the bottom and have a really easy time getting a lot of points there.
Oh yeah.
Or fighting there, so yeah, it feels good. That's
But,
the main reason why the cut was really bad. It's not just about the weakness; it's also about giving black so much more potential.
Yeah. So I guess the question here then would be: does black play towards the top to fix their own weaknesses first? Because we know that if we say black comes back on the bottom, we know that white's corner is alive, right? It's really hard to kill, so we know that white doesn't actually need to add another move. So can white play like something like M16 if black decides to go towards the bottom to kind of attack the black group? And we can see that black decided to try to use white's weaknesses to basically make their group more comfortable. And I think black made the right decision. I think the bottom, even though it's really important, I think that black should mind their own weaknesses first.
Yeah, it's always better to do that when you can.
Especially when you have such a big lead, you don't have to do anything too crazy.
But he's not just jumping and playing the simple move and letting white do something right away. He's trying to at least use the position. Maybe he can get Sente out of it, right? If
yeah, because some people might think, maybe they don't want to poke at that weakness too early. But I actually agree with Nate in this case. I do think that if you were to simply poke at it too early, there's a lot of different ways that white can go about fixing it. But you're kind of making black make a choice here. I mean, white make a choice here. You're forcing white to basically make a decision the way that you want them to, rather than giving them hundreds of options on the ways to fix their group.
Yeah. And at the very least, it might be possible for black to end up making points on the top with his weak group, which will be very painful for white as well. Linking up to the corner and then taking some top territory would be, very nice.
Yeah, I think this is actually becoming quite devastating for white. Black is definitely playing really well right now.
And I guess Zichen's game is already over.
Oh, is it really?
That's what somebody said.
I guess I'm not entirely surprised. Did Zhichen win is the question.
It's only becoming devastating. Well, it could have been a good position earlier for white, but it was devastating, and then it just is becoming more and more obvious, really, Leo.
I actually don't like whatever happened over on the side of the board. Like, whatever happened for white to get like that, I don't like whatever happened over there. Sure. To what? Okay. Okie dokie.
They can't hear you,
everybody.
Yes, 5-minute break.
And then we're swapping games again.
Did you know that BadukClub has a calendar of tournaments from across the globe? Find competitions near you or advertise your event as simple as clicking. Receive notifications when a listing is made in your area so that you can stay up to date on your local tournaments at baduk.club/calendar.
Okay.
All
Awesome
right,
streaming.
we're back again. Hello, everybody.
Yes,
So
hello,
this
hello.
time we're doing Eric versus Edward. Zichen's game did end already. We did take a quick look at it because I was curious, but now we got Eric versus Edward. I think this game is actually probably the closest of the ones that we looked at.
Yeah, it might be. Do you know
Looks
anything
like
about
this game has
Edward?
actually been really passive, but I'm not surprised. What'd you say?
Do you know anything about the Edward Zheng?
I played him in the Masters. He's a
Okay.
very solid player, I think. Though maybe sometimes a little too passive. But I do think that this game is going to be interesting because I do think that Eric and Edward sometimes may have the same style.
Oh, okay. So that's why it was not as fighty as all the other games. Two people with a similar style playing, yeah. I
think Eric can be fighty, but I think Eric's style can really change depending on his opponent and the situation he's in, right?
He's good at being adaptive.
Yeah,
situation.
I think Eric is a very adaptive and an all-arounder. And he knows kind of how to change his style. Unlike in cases where my style went from very fighty to now a little bit softer. It's a little bit more on the, hey, I want to make points side of things. And I have absolutely no idea how to make it fighty again. Absolutely not a clue how to do what I was doing before.
Well, fighting is weird because, like, when you try to force it, you're like, okay, I'm going to play a fighting game. You always end up doing all the wrong and the bad fights. And it's just ends up being absolutely terrible. I feel like you lose so much easier that way. But if you just let it naturally happen,
things that made me consider a little bit more. So now when I'm playing, I'm looking more at what I'm doing and I'm realizing my weaknesses before they happen. Where otherwise, I was putting myself in really good fighting positions with some worse moves, but they were better for fighting. And I don't exactly know how to do that anymore. But it is what it is. I think Eric's very good at doing that kind of thing, is where he can choose any style he wants and play it. Very versatile player. Edward, on the other hand, I think Edward is a very soft player, very he does a lot of thinking. He's not the type of player to play an over-aggressive or really egregious move. So yeah, I think that's why it's probably going to be a very soft and interesting game. Or passive, interesting. Well, maybe passive isn't interesting to some people, but I find very solid games to be very interesting. Okay.
It's an end game. Maybe we'll see what it gets to.
That's another thing that would be really interesting. However, I will say if this game goes to end game, I would 100% put my money on Eric for sure. I think that's.
Is he very strong at end game then?
Oh yeah, Eric's really good at endgame. He rarely loses games that go to the endgame.
That was something that I was kind of happy about with the U.S. Open for me, was that someone did, like, they just came and watched my game a few times and they commented that I'm really good at finishing games. I can simplify it all and finish it. And I was like, okay, good. I like that. That was a nice compliment. That's exactly how I want to play. So
yeah. So we see that White is. I'm actually not quite sure what to think of this move. I mean, so I guess obviously White needs to work off of this group because it doesn't have any eyes. So it does need to do something. But Black is connected up in so many ways.
Yeah.
So we're definitely not trying to split with this move.
We're just getting strength. Yeah. We just want to.
Yeah. So we're just
sure
trying to gain. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. White is just trying to gain strength.
Well, and someone asked about the 2 stones at Q6 and R6. Those ones, we don't worry about that at all. They're not really important. So yeah, I wouldn't think about those too much.
Yeah, they're definitely small right now, and I think it's very unlikely that White will revive them. I would imagine that the best thing that White can do with those is utilize maybe the Audrey to get some endgame. later
Mhm.
at some
Yeah.
point.
Apparently, before the jump at 013, apparently AI was suggesting Tengen for black.
Before the jump at 013.
Something like that.
Well, I think that goes back to kind of what I was just saying, right? You know, black has so many ways to connect up. I do kind of. So I understand the why AI would think this is a good move. I personally like black's choice.
Yeah,
But
I like
it
to
does
jump out more.
It does go back to what we said, you know,
Mhm.
because white does need to come back and connect up. And when we look at where black can gain points, it is kind of in the center of the board.
When I guess white can't actually connect anywhere yet. You can always
Yeah,
cut through that, so that is awkward too. Yeah, so I guess it's fine to take center first.
Yeah.
But I like to jump. I like being a bit more direct with punishing my opponent's shape if I can. Like what
Yeah, I guess the
Eric
idea is
doing.
that by playing 013, you are allowing white to play the next move, and white
Mhm.
played M13, so you are giving black's white's strength. But I do
Oh.
think in this case, it should be fine, right? Because black may not have gotten Tengen, but they did get L11, which is really close to Tengen.
Yeah.
At
I
the end of
guess
the day.
at first I wasn't sure about this move, but it totally makes sense because black has to connect after the cut. So
Yeah.
yeah, this does seem to be okay for white.
Yeah. So black will need to come back and connect for sure. Now the question is, will Eric read in this part and try to go for this cut? I'm
Go
very
for it
curious.
anyway.
Will he be like,
Oh.
can I have enough liberties? Very unlikely. I don't see black having enough liberties that way because white has so many ways to basically come out and make eyes, right? Like we can, you know, do as much as we want here.
Yeah,
but
at least white can still make more liberties. Yeah.
Yeah, white has so many ways to come out and make liberties, and I think that's just too difficult to read. Even if at the end of the day, like let's say black does somehow win that liberty race, I think that is too hard to read. So I personally would come back and just make life.
I just want to say hello, Batsko, and I think he is required to yodel when he wins the game, Mr. Yoder. Yeah, I think he is required.
Gosh.
We should hear it soon, I'm sure, if he wins.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure to text Eric after his game and say, don't forget to yodel.
Yeah, it's very important.
Oh wow. So black is going for I wonder if he's going for this kind of split. Which I think is smart, but I would still feel like it's too risky, right?
I think it is a bit risky. But can he just push and then connect so that there's more cutting points? Is that because if white gets another move there, it feels a little bit more complete? Is that what happened? Oh no, there we go. Yeah. No, it feels like.
Let me go back to it.
Yeah. Because it feels like if black just Tanuki'd first, maybe white can fix with basically one move. Or two moves, I guess, because white could play N13 and then Atari at M15 to fix everything.
I feel like
push, maybe.
I think that if black isn't going to cuts, then I think it's weird to play N13. I think the result is kind of the same, except maybe this is slightly better for white. Unless black really plans to cut, then I think it could be up in the air.
I guess yeah, it's just some of those reading things, but it looks like if black connects back with S10 instead, he can allow white to push through with those stones and Atarium down.
I would be so terrified to cut here.
Yeah, I would be too. But you know, if you read it works, just go with your reading, right?
I think it would be very weird for Eric to choose to cut here. I mean, if he read it, then I think it would be normal. But I don't see Eric having read this and making the decision to cut. I think
you gotta trust your reading, yeah, bias. Yeah, no bias said you gotta trust your reading. Yep.
Yeah, trust your reading.
And
I feel like cutting would be not trusting your reading.
Cuts, Atari, connect, and then connect underneath at S10 and push through. It looks like no, it's still just bad. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I don't think it works.
Plus, I feel like, you know, say we cuts and you know takes this and
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You're gonna have to come back and fix this.
Yeah.
So you hurt your liberties even further than they were.
Because bamboo joints are not good for liberties.
Yeah. So I don't quite know what Black's plan is. Maybe he comes back and live, but that doesn't make any sense either because you're leaving this here.
Can he do the peep? The corner's not going to die though, right? So it's not doesn't matter, right?
I guess that peep is an option, right? Because now if White tries to come back and fix, it does look like he comes out on top. So White would probably have to push here first, and yeah, maybe this is what he's looking at. Because if White tries to just cut directly now, they just get pushed through. And if White connects, Black can just actually connect under, right?
Yeah, and this seems like it should be good.
Yeah. So maybe that's what his aim is. Maybe that's what he's reading.
But he has to put more reading into the weed than we are going to do. So.
Oh yeah. Because if it doesn't work, then that would be devastating.
It would be super devastating. But my only worry was that the push and cut might not be Sente because the corner can live, and so if he can get some strength on the outside and let Black go through, it might be okay.
Hard to say. I do not think he yodels, but his grandfather does.
We'll find someone to yodel after the match.
Not me.
No, I'm not doing it. Yeah, for sure not. Oh man, you would think that he would have thought more before pushing rather than thinking now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe he's just verifying what he read, right? They say, if you play variation and your opponent responds the way that you think they should, maybe they see something you don't. So
always double check. Yeah, always. Wait, you played the move that I think is not supposed to work. What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Usually it's fine, but you have to worry more when you're not online.
So by move 67, Black had 44 minutes left, and White had 35 minutes. So White has spent more time than Eric so far.
Yeah, I thought Eric was supposed to be a fairly slow player, right?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if this happens, what if White just gives up the corner?
Yeah, that's what I was... But, taking the corner could be big enough, though.
Could be. But I feel like it's not needed.
No. But otherwise, the cut doesn't work. So you need to play something to make it work if you're going to cut. That seems like the only move. Maybe some sort of weird... No, the attachments don't work. Nothing sort of works there. I don't...
I'm very curious. I want to see the follow-up on this cut now. I'm very invested in this cut happening.
Can he try... No, that doesn't work either. Well, maybe I was thinking maybe he could try something like R15 to push through and not invest too many more moves first, but make that cut a little bit more obvious. But it's hard to say that's good as well. Yeah, I just don't like it. I think I would just connect up underneath. I just connect. Don't call him slow. The proper term is amateur. That's terrible. I like it.
These are our top amateurs, though. These are our road to professional amateurs. So they should be addressed as such, with expectations as such.
That's why I called him very slow. Yeah, I'm playing the game. Yeah, it's very good.
Exactly.
I like watching him scratch his head in a little video feed. Yeah, me too. I do the same thing. Oh, is there a video feed?
Oh, there is. There is a little videos.
Oh, nice.
A little video feed.
That's cool.
I didn't even see the video feed.
I don't see anything.
That's awesome.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's on the stream.
I need to zoom in a little bit. We need a second stream just for the video feed. That'd be nice. Oh.
So, question for everybody in chat. Outside of Zchen, because we know that everybody's gonna select Zchen being the winner, right?
Mm-hmm.
But outside of Zchen, what Actually, a better question. What is everybody's thoughts on who's getting out of groups? 2 players get out of each group. So who do you think is going to get out of Group B, and who is going to get out of Group A?
Oh, I guess we should see which Group A and B are.
If anybody has any hot takes, especially after round 1, because everybody thought that Eric Lee was probably the favorite for second place, right?
Well, everyone's thinking Chin and Telly. That's what I saw beforehand on like Reddit and stuff. Everyone was saying Telegraph was gonna be the top player, but I'm starting to think Kenny. Or not Kenny. Maybe it was was it Kenny, or was it the other guy? Or was the other guy in the other team? Oh, I gotta look now. Steven is what I wanted.
Yeah, Steven. Yeah.
Or Steven. Which group is he in? They only have last names on here.
He's in. He's Group A.
Okay, yeah. I want Steven, because after seeing that game, I felt really nice about it.
I still put my faith in either. I still think it's actually going to be Zheng and Eric Lee. I think so. No, my faith is still there. It's just a little harder now.
Just a little bit harder. Yeah, so I want just because his game was the one game that I liked seeing the most. So that was it. Yeah, Steven and if we don't include Zheng, then it would be, well, there's quite a few good options in the other group. Or yeah, there's quite a few good options in both groups. I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yodel and Dom. Keep the dream alive. Well, I want Eric to do really well, because he did really well last time, right? So.
Oh yeah, he did. He got 3rd place last time.
And the players that won, I think one of them is doing like the Lily Cup, and he played like Koje in the first round or something. I think Telly made a video about that.
Yeah, both of them are actually doing the Lily.
I wasn't sure if both of them were, because I know that Kevin was saying he may not want to go do that.
Yeah, I do remember in the beginning they talked about not wanting to do too many overseas events, but he did go. He did play. Unfortunately, they both lost, but it was still really fun to watch.
Who Kevin played?
I don't know the name of the pro he played. I just know it was a 6-song professional.
Okay.
Okay, so Black did decide to cut, and he did decide to come back. So my guess as to why this decision was made, this is just my guess, is because if we remember what we talked about earlier, how we were saying that the reason Tengen may have been what White had wanted, what the AI had wanted Black to do, is because it decided that the most point value is going to come from the center. So if we think about it,
it's the same idea here, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Black is aiming that strength toward the center. So I think that's the idea that Black has here. Black is like, okay, I may have not been aiming towards the center before, but I think now it's more important for White to actually come back and take those stones. So we can say that if White plays, something like this, Black is going to get another move in this area of the board.
And Black has some good end game and awkward Audrey on the right side too, because all those moves are like the peeps and the R13 and S14 attachments. All those could end up being something Sente later.
Yep.
So that could be very painful for White.
What White said.
White's gonna jump. Yeah.
White says, "I'm not going to allow that to happen. Simply, I'm going to fight. You're not taking me down that easily." So White jumps towards the center.
Well, that's why I sort of like the Tengen area that the bot was just telling us about, because here there's a possibility of the Black center getting disconnected.
Actually, this stone in particular is starting to actually look pretty good.
Yeah, there's possibilities of a lot of Aji there for Black in an annoying fight. Oh, is he peeping now?
Yeah, he is peeping now.
Very
but
good.
I mean, this is actually probably a good peep now. This is probably
he has to do it, yeah. Because White can't just give up too much right now, I think.
But I think White should
flexible
probably...
in the center.
But White should definitely not connect. White needs to make this more interesting, right? Because we know that the corner is going to live. Like this is not in any danger. The idea is that black wants white to force this connect, so they can put more pressure on these stones, because we know that white running towards here is not going to be able to do anything. So we need to make some sort of fighting exchange, and we probably need to reach more in this direction.
When someone's saying, what stops white from basically making black heavier by doing the Atari and Hane instead?
The Atari
instead of the jumping out. But I think that makes black stronger. So that'd be a M11 into L10.
Oh, you mean like this?
Yeah, but I think he was asking about it earlier. But I think it does make black a little bit heavier. But
yeah, I mean, black definitely doesn't want to give up these stones here. Those stones are really important, especially when we just mentioned how like important the center is versus other parts of the board. Absolutely love this move. I think this is a really good way to aim at making it making Aji towards the top side, because we can say that, you know, obviously this is not going to work right now, right? But we know that when white turns here, white can actually connect up, which is a big problem, because now black's group is actually at the possibility of getting cut off as well. And now you might think, okay, well, it's worth giving up these stones for these stones, but the problem is that it's actually not very clear if black can actually kill these stones. So to risk giving up the entire top side in exchange for something that might happen is not ideal, especially when you're in a more important event like the pro qualifications. You know, you don't want to do anything that's too risky. Obviously, you don't want to show tons of fear where you're really afraid of what the opponent might do. But at the same time, you don't want to do something that's going to just, you don't want to be a pushover, right? I guess is like the best way to put it. You don't want to be a pushover, but you also don't want to do anything stupid.
People are saying there's a better action shot of Eric now. Better up close. Yeah, it's nicer. Nice up close look.
Yeah.
Are all the players pretty young? I believe the ages are actually like from like 23 to like 50 something, from what I saw.
Yeah. I don't think any of the players are particularly young to Go standards.
Yeah, for Go standards. We're not Korea or Japan with the.
But I mean, that's kind of, Go has to start somewhere, right? With the professional scene, right? Though I know that we got two professionals who are like, what were they, like 13 and 14 last year, or
we got 15? Younger professionals last year.
But I think that the players that are playing are still really strong and can still compete.
I believe like Eric proved that last year when he competed, so he did a good job. So
very fun last year, though I only got to watch last year. Hopefully next year I get to actually participate.
Yeah, that's what I want to do that next year. If I feel like I was able to put enough effort into improving as I want to, but we'll find out what happens.
I felt like I improved immensely just by playing in the Masters. I feel like I learned a lot. So.
Well, I feel like same for me, but I wasn't in the Masters, right? I feel like I actually learned a lot just from going and playing at Congress and playing random people, and then in the Open, because I don't get to do that very often. So I feel like it was very beneficial. So yeah, so white is taking the outside first, because I do agree that the center is very important here.
Yeah,
just
and
leaving
again,
that area.
we mentioned how if black does play here, the corner is alive, so white doesn't actually have to worry too much.
Doesn't have to worry,
Yeah, so white actually has a really good way to connect up, and then if black decides to come back in this direction, white can connect up in this way. So I think he's making a fine decision. Now, obviously, it would suck if if black decided to connect up this way. It would suck for white, because obviously, we don't want to have to give up this cutting stone, because it would be very unfortunate if we played here and then black just got to play this. And unfortunately, if we do play this way, it is unfortunately too good for black.
I think so.
White would not be able to find enough eyes.
But I think white would probably want to take the outside instead of, Instead of worrying about that, I think they would take the outside. But I think we got two very slow players, which is good here.
Yeah,
People are
it's gonna
taking their
be- It's gonna
time.
be a long game.
Oh, wedge right away.
Oh wow.
I wasn't thinking about it, but it's possible.
So I
It
guess
does have some thickness, right?
Yeah, so I guess what Black is aiming for is like this clamp, right? Or maybe he's gonna go a little bit, maybe a little stronger. Because if Black does clamp, we are saying that White is going to get the Panuki. So maybe White actually pulls out here instead, and White has to kind of fix like this or something.
It sounds like this seems over aggressive.
This is going to be really interesting to see how this unfolds.
Leo, he's going all Lisadol with this one. Yeah.
So I guess if White was going to play on either side of this, it would probably be better to play this one.
Yeah, Tengen seems the right move.
Because we can take here, and we kind of get into this battle where Black doesn't actually have any way out, and let's say if Black comes out to try to fix these ones first.
Total mic drop? Oh, okay.
have
Yeah,
a
no,
net.
good point, yeah. Yeah, that seems good. I was surprised by the move, and so I have to read it out. But yeah, it does seem just Tengen and capture. It seems difficult to actually cut everything off because of the Aji in the center. Not enough liberties, I think. But if White
Yeah.
backs off and Black is able to retreat, that would be really good for Black, I think.
Yeah, so maybe that's why playing the top side is so important.
I think that's the only move, but maybe there's
Yeah.
something we're missing. But
And now, if Black had went towards this side first, some people might be asking like, why this wedge over that one? And so you kind of give White this option to actually go back here,
mhm.
and it's a little different. And you actually can't cut off Black anymore, so
Yeah.
or you can't cut off White anymore. So
Yoder's such a boss. Yeah.
oh, this is going to be so interesting because we know there's no way White plays anything other than the take.
Yeah.
And
have
so
to.
what this actually means is that we very likely are getting this ko.
Oh, but can White actually Hane on the outside first?
Hane on the outside.
When
Oh,
he
you mean like
yeah,
this?
can he do that? Because
He would-
Black
he
needs
would-
Black
Black
needs
would
Black
get
doesn't have that many liberties though, is what I mean.
Oh, that's so tough. I guess we'll
yeah,
get to see. We'll probably get to see here. What is Black's plan?
But just cut is gonna be simple for White, I guess, but
I think both are probably
gonna end up similar.
fine because if White Hanes here, right, like this,
Mhm.
and Black Hanes again, it is now an
If-
attack on this group. As to where if Black was here, it kind of just reverts back to this, and the net is a thing, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, either way, we're getting a fight like this.
Yeah, it feels awkward. I don't like this one as much for Black unless
I
you
don't
want
either.
something-
I feel like this could be really, really bad for Black. I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure what is going through Black's head here because this just seems really greedy. Also, I feel like if you wanted to do this, if you wanted to play this, I think there was a better way to do it, right? Like, what if you just hit the head, right? But then again, I guess Black was aiming for this clamp.
yeah, something over there, yeah. And
No, they weren't aiming for the clamp. That's right. Because
they
they
cut,
pushed
yeah.
through. But if you go like this, you kind of get the same idea, right?
But maybe he's worried that if he does it that way, White can live more easily in the center.
Maybe. It
But I
just
don't know,
seems so
this
risky
feels-
to do it this way.
Yeah, it
It's
feels risky.
very greedy. It's very greedy. But knowing Eric, maybe he has a plan. He
Yeah.
probably is
He
reading
better have a
something
oh.
that is going to absolutely blow our minds. I have a feeling.
I hope our minds are blown because I want to see what's gonna happen.
Oh, I
Yoder's on
love
another
watching-
level. Yep.
Yeah.
Give your opponent Panuki in the center and chill. Yep.
It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, because it just feels like Black's a little too weak in the center, but maybe there's an easy way to come out. Like just that push at L14 is a little annoying already.
I like how when we joined this game, we were actually saying how this is probably going to be a calm game. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
and then it's-
technically,
It was a calm game up until now. Yeah,
it was.
yeah, that's how it works. It's like the other game. We're gonna join it. It was even, and then they lost the second we joined.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. It was that
Yeah.
you're talking about the Nate and Yinli.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true. We joined just as like the game had a big swing.
A huge swing. Oh, it was terrible. I guess I could look see if they're still going.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna check real
know.
quick. Ooh.
Because I know the Zheng game is already ended.
Yeah, this seems difficult. Okay, I'm not gonna look. I'm
Difficult
gonna
for
watch
who?
what we're doing. Difficult for Telegraph's opponent.
Okay, Yinli.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, Yinli. Yeah, I went away from the screens. I couldn't remember.
So I was actually
exactly.
curious about Yinli because I didn't. So there's a couple players I was curious about, like Emil, Yinli, and Steven. I didn't know them very well, so I did look a bit into like their games history. Now I couldn't find much about Emil. I couldn't find much about Steven Lin. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know anything about them, but I did see some cool stuff from Yinli's past games. Apparently, she played in the Masters in 2019 as a 5-dan, and she actually got 2 wins against some really strong players. One of them was actually a pro level type player.
Wow,
which
nice.
is really cool. Now, I don't know which. I don't know if he is a pro. I just was told that the player that they beat was a pro level player named like Hong Kui or something like that.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, Yinli has experience against some strong players and has even some victories against some really strong players. So I guess in a way she could also be probably a dark horse in the tournament as well. Maybe more than some might think.
Yeah, I said I'm still just rooting for my buddy Steven.
Oh, your buddies now? Are you watching one game? Nice, buddy.
Yeah, he's my best friend. We just talked for 0 seconds, and I just knew right then and there.
So white chose the cut instantly.
Yeah, I think that should be fine. Like both, this one might be a little bit better for controlling the center.
So
but then the Atari is annoying.
So if white Atari's here, actually never mind, it doesn't matter. So I was thinking if white comes back here, maybe black would be able to come out here. But I think that.
Oh, I've done that many times. It's all good.
Actually, maybe it is fine for black to cut like this, or maybe I'm missing something.
Let's just start the letter there and see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Because I would think that white can play the Atari and then just come back here. And then what can white realistically do to stop? Oh, I'm so dumb.
Yeah, just that. There we go. It looks like there might not be enough liberties, but it's all good. Just net.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I overthought it. Okay, so I guess realistically, what is
the plan? Yeah.
Because if you think about it, now white has a Panuki towards the center. So if black actually comes back and fixes here.
Now white's fixed everywhere, basically.
Yeah, white is really strong towards the center and really strong towards the very important part of the board that we talked about. Actually, no, I again, we're missing something. Look.
Well, I was about to say maybe
if
there's
black
something.
Plays here, and white has 2 weaknesses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if white plays at M8, black actually can come back and cut.
I'm so embarrassed, you guys.
What can white do about it?
Hmm.
Though I guess when you think about it, you could always do something like this. Now, obviously, we could say that maybe white, black just sacrifices the first top stone, but at this point, maybe it's not. Maybe those stones are no longer worth saving for white.
That's about 20 points for black to capture those, but it looks like white can peep and surround the center potentially.
Yeah,
so and that might be good enough.
Yeah, so now it's boom boom.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. So black does actually come out a little bit ahead on this.
Can't quite Hane, but that would have been nice.
But this is still, I think, a really good result for white if it goes like that.
We'll have to see, of course, but.
Because those stones are actually not that big when you think about it. It's only 10 points inside, right? And in exchange, when you think about it as well, white got a really powerful Panuki towards the center in exchange.
Which is 30 points, right? So easy. Easy exchange.
Yeah, 30 points versus 10, for sure.
That's a 20-point bonus. So there we go. That's great. And there's still some Audrey everywhere. So it feels like the center strength is going to be more important than just capturing a couple stones, because like the left side has more potential for white to do something, and there's still cuts in the center.
Yeah, white still does have. So we say that black comes back here, white fixes, black comes back here. And let's say we don't go into all this stuff up here, though I imagine that white will get all these forcing.
Yeah, something here, yeah, for sure.
White will definitely do this. So let's say black comes back and fixes it. White does actually have a lot of strength to just come over here and do pretty much anything they want, almost. I guess like the more popular thing these days is this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not easy for black. I think black has really blundered here. Because I can't find a potential response for black here.
Leo, the Panuki is strong only because there's still weakness on the board, and because it's such a thick position, the weakness is more glaring in this case. So if black had one more move on the left side that already protected that group, then the Panuki would have been worthless, and capturing the stones would have been amazing. Yeah, always 30 points, no exceptions, exactly.
This could also be a potential upset if Edward wins. Now I know that Edward is around 6 Dawn strength still, even if he's if after the Masters he did fall to 5 Dawn, he still is strong enough to play against all of the 6 Dawns, But it still would be an upset, I think.
Just extended to cut off the stone. So Eric is saying that the middle can't die. So if he read this out and it can't die, then this is great.
So
but,
we need to be careful about how we handle this, because obviously, when I was showing the variation, I was saying directly go here. Now we have to recognize that there are going to be weaknesses here. We are leaving a lot of stuff.
I think
one
that
thing that White's going to have to do
work.
is actually count their liberties when deciding how to play in this area. Because you could probably do something like this, or simply back off here. Because where's black going to run, right? Realistically,
well, black needs.
Yeah.
Yes, black needs 6 liberties somehow. They seem very limited right now, so.
Yeah, so black's gonna have to try to create more liberties in a direction where white is so much stronger than him. So I think this is actually a very hard game for black now.
But if he read it out,
is so greedy. Is so greedy.
I said if he read it out, then it works and it's great. But
yeah,
if not...
if he read it out and it works, it's great. But that's the thing. Can you read this out? I can tell you right now, I would not be able to read this out.
There's too much open area for black to move into that I wouldn't be 100% positive, but I'd be more comfortable as white probably.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it would have been just best to kind of go for these stones. And just
I guess we need to...
obviously the position's better for white still, but it still seems playable. And more clear. Playable and more clear. This seems very unclear. Very unclear.
It does seem that white, that AI prefers white right now. I guess I can look.
If AI prefers white right now, then 100% black is dead.
But that doesn't mean...
very unfortunate.
That doesn't mean white can actually kill black, though, because AI will do it perfectly.
Right.
And hopefully white will do it perfectly, but we don't know. But
we would say that can black kind of, can black trick white into, a position where he's not going to have enough liberties to kill black, and then vice versa. Can white actually hold on and we'll make sure that black has as minimal liberties as possible. So I would think that this is where white wants to spend their time. If white has any time right now, if white has any time left, this is where you want to spend all of it, right here, right now, right at this very moment. Because when you look at this position, this is a game-deciding position, right? It's literally this group versus this group. And we know that if white dies here, there's nowhere on this board that white's going to be able to make up those points. And if black dies here, there's nowhere that black's going to be able to make up those points.
Yeah,
This
because
is a
not
game
only are
deciding
those stones dying, but white's also getting points in the center, even more points potential in the center.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
that's so painful. So it has to work, right? Oh, this is exciting now. Very exciting now. So
Yeah, it is. It is. It went from super passive. I mean, it was. I thought passive fighting was exciting. I mean, solid passive.
that's my preferred way to play. So I agree with that. So it's fine. But as a
But I
viewer,
guess we'll
this is
see.
more exciting. Yeah, my only thought, I guess we can use the L16 stone a little bit. I don't know if I want to push there or not at L14, or if I want to do like a knight's move of some sort.
It's hard, right? Because you want to try to keep taking liberties from black, obviously, because because if we play L14, we're taking a liberty from black.
Yeah.
However,
But we have enough spare liberties that we can play it more loosely.
We know that right now on the outside, that
Yes,
black
3
only
versus
has
6. Yeah.
3 liberties. So we know that we don't actually have to be that severe. So we could probably play something that's thicker and stronger. But white has to always, come back to the thought of, if I play this way, can black realistically make more liberties? More than 3? Because now you have 4. Well, I mean, not 4 right now, but yeah.
There's a lot more possibility.
It's so hard to read. It's definitely something that I would tell you right now that I'm not capable of reading.
So someone said they're sure Eric is purposely playing this just to keep his reputation as a madman.
I 100% agree with that.
What if white J14? Yeah, that's I wasn't sure exactly about that one. There's a lot of weakness towards the top, so that's why I wasn't 100% certain. But this might be fine. I'm not sure
wait, did
how.
they play J14? Okay, no.
No.
That's
So you have
true.
Yeah, it seems like it might be working.
Because you would think that the idea would be that maybe yeah, black. There's no way that black can make enough liberties this way.
Yeah, even the middle group is perfectly fine to be cut off. There's not enough liberties on either side. I think they have to swap clothing. What?
I wonder if there is a response for black here. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, look at the feed again, just see what's going on. But both very intensely focused. He's quadruple checking to make sure that actually works. I'm guessing. I guess even if it ends up not working, if white, I don't know the territory balance necessarily, but if white's able to surround and still make some points or invade the left side, it still is possible that there's some sort of possibility there. But it seems difficult. But
realistic, I think white would have to actually kill this group to win.
I think they probably should, but
like, let's say he does play this, or let's say black does somehow get enough liberties. Okay, maybe he just
it might be possible, yeah.
And white connects up like this. Okay, let's just say that happens. Realistically, I don't think that white's actually going to be capable of gaining enough points here. Black would actually have to play, white would actually have to play really severe and kind of like try to remove this base here.
It's hard to find the right type of severe move on the left.
Yeah. Plus, another issue is that white does have a really big weakness in this area comparatively to black. It's definitely not the strong point of the board for white.
Triple the next tournament, go nude or go home. Introspection bias, I'm in. All right. Hans Niemann's worst nightmare. Very good.
Oh no.
But
I mean, Edward is using his time here, and I think that's important because I think this is the moment of the game that's most pivotal, right?
Yeah.
Again, and this is where black will spend their most time either. So like, let's say white does play this, right? I think black will spend almost as much time as white is spending here.
He might, yeah.
If not more.
Oh man.
But while they are
It's-
thinking, I think it's a really good moment to call a break so I can get in more water.
Oh, okay. Shall I let them know somehow?
Uh, Devin, SOS, I need more water.
You probably run and get it real
I mean,
quick.
it's probably fine if I just get up for a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're both thinking. What more do they want me to say?
They're gonna play 20 moves while you're gone, but it's all good.
All right, I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Oh man. It's a me. Oh, that was loud. Yeah. Just reading the chat here. Let me see. I think we've actually caught up with the chat pretty nicely. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm looking at the other games. When he showed on the screen, but it does look like the game we're covering earlier with Telegraph and Yinli. It does look like he ended up capturing a bunch on the board, and it's going to be a good game for him. So we're right there, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've joined you in the stream while Paige is gone. Hang out a little bit with
All right.
chat and you. So, no, it's yeah. I mean, potentially a bit tilted with
Okay.
AI. I mean, one thing
I'm
to know
back.
too about. Oh, hey, welcome back.
Mm.
I joined
Yeah,
you
that's
too.
nice.
Welcome, Devin.
Yeah, I figured I'd hang out for a second. One of the things to know about the kind of AI evaluation, I don't think you guys can see it, but chat can see it. It doesn't take into account Comey in regards to the score estimated at the top. So when it says like white's up by 7, it actually it's white's up by 14. So that's something to know. And then, but the bar is accurate. The win percentage bar is accurate. I don't know why it doesn't take into account Comey. I mean, we entered Comey into the AI analysis, like it knows what Comey is. It uses that for win.
What are you using for the AI stuff though?
So we're using Lizzie YZY. And actually,
love Lizzie
Jay made a custom one for us, and then kind of our tech guy Ed Helen in the Baduk house, he Jay's custom code he couldn't get to work on his computer. It just kind of crashed, and I don't think it's Jay's code per se. I think it's he couldn't compile like something on his computer. So you know, programming is hard. I'm always looking for people that want to do that though. So if, you know, quick plug for you know, BadukClub and Baduk House. If you guys people out there have programming skills and want to help, always in need of doing cool stuff, because we want to bring a really cool analysis in the future. But we have great commentators, so who needs no one needs AI analysis. Yeah,
useless.
Yeah,
your
Absolutely.
best commentators, both right here.
that's right.
Yeah, of course,
you
of
guys are
course.
doing great, I think. All right, well, I'll let you get back to it. Yep. And whenever you're ready to be done, I'll probably be listening, and then, you know, we can transition away. But yep.
Okay.
So first I want to say, Leo, again, why have you never come across me in your misadventures trying to play? That's because you haven't worked hard enough to try to find me. I don't know what your rank is.
Oh, that's true.
If
You are really difficult to find right now. Now that
Very,
you're
very
streaming
difficult.
on YouTube.
Yeah, I am a YouTube streamer now.
So with what
finding y'all
Devin
on
said
YouTube.
though, with what Devin said, that means White is absolutely destroying Eric right now.
Yeah, but as I said, it all depends on who's able to read this out properly, right?
Yeah, that is true. If White can read it out, then I would imagine that it is destroying. It can go back to the other side really easily, because if White makes any blunder here and Black does get enough liberties, it will swing. You know, it will swing to a huge
easily.
victory for Black.
Oh, yeah, Kick did have a first Go stream today. Yes, there was a random Kick streamer. I believe he was a virtual streamer of some sort and was French. I saw a bunch of French information. So I don't know who it was.
I thought about streaming on Kick too.
Well, I want YouTube, because you can keep everything in one place, and I'm working with some people on my end to maybe make some alternative to Patreon for Go people. So that should be fun, just so that people can be in all in one spot.
Yeah,
So I think spreading yourself thin in multiple different places and having to keep checking all those different places is quite annoying.
I've considered just doing videos. I think
Yeah, you should. You should definitely.
It's so hard to do all the hours of streaming, you know.
Mhm.
I don't know how this is for other people, but for me specifically, like I'm really worn out after the first 2 hours. You know,
Yeah,
in Go matches.
If you look at my streams, you have to look at my streams. They're always about 2.5 hours long, most of them.
yeah, I'm pretty tired after the first 2 hours, and you know, and you might think that's not, but I've actually been insulted by people for how little hours that I stream. People, you know, like will come on my stream.
No, they
and they'll
they
be like,
do
"You stream way too little. You know, you suck
they
at
do come
this
after you
not
for that.
streaming
It is
long
true.
enough." It's like, well, what do you want from?
Yeah. Can Black take
Like,
the
I'm
top in
streaming for
exchange for the
fun.
center?
Can Black take the top in exchange?
No. The answer is, I think, is just no.
You mean like the
20.
whole top, or if you mean the whole top? I assume you're actually talking about the potential of like this, and then Black just decides to, you know.
Well,
like,
Black taking the top, as I said. So
right.
so Black Atari at L15 probably instead of that's what I would guess.
Well, I mean, like let's just say White plays here, and Black decides to make more liberties for themselves. You know, obviously Black will create more liberties. Well, I mean, the thing is, obviously Black's going to have still like this, right? But let's assume that Black actually needs to come back again, and White can come back to this. The unfortunate part is like this is still not going to be good enough. Realistically, this is still not going to be good enough. This is just too big. And even then, you still have so much to come back and try to fix. You still have this group floating in the center. You know, White's not actually going to get too much here. It's just too hard. That's why I said like this is the pivotal moment of the game. You know, either Black dies and White wins, or White dies and Black wins. There's not a lot.
I also think
like
what if White plays like the J14 move and then Black Atari is at L15? If that can get him enough liberties.
L15.
Right, and if he pushes through, takes the top side, but it doesn't seem like that's good enough. I think that's what they were sort of asking, is if they could take something.
Okay. If Black takes the top side and White takes the center, okay. No, this would not actually be enough. I think this would still not be like infinitely bad. Like it's not like the game is crazy far off. You know, but I think the whole part that makes this the worst is that Black has to take the stone, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what was the point of playing L15?
And even pushing through at Q14 isn't really that important because the corner's just alive.
Yeah.
So Black can't really take too much on the top or in the corner. We can't really take too much anywhere over there.
So there's not a lot that Black can get up there. At least not enough that it matters.
Not infinitely bad doesn't sound incredibly encouraging. Yes, it's not encouraging. Not infinitely bad. Yeah, I like that. He is throwing it pretty hard.
Paige gets her fill by eating people's stones. That's true.
So I think if you were to make videos, what type of videos would you want to do? Just playing games like you do on stream, or would you want to do something like what Telegraph is doing with
oh no, definitely just
games?
Like playing games like I do on stream.
Oh, okay.
I'd probably just record myself for hours of playing games.
And then just upload
and then just throw them together in one big video.
Okay. So basically a stream, but no talking to chat.
Yeah. Me commentary? No.
No.
We already got Nate for that. He's super good at that.
Yeah, I like that he's trying to do a more storytelling approach to everything. Oh, it does look like the AI
is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. Yeah, it does seem the AI likes your move of L15 a little bit more than the center move. I finally looked at the stream. Just check.
It is the most solid choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I do think that if White is afraid, he can play this because I can't see any way out for Black from here. I can't really think of anything. Like maybe maybe White goes, Black tries to do something like this. But realistically, it really does look like there's going to be
not much there.
No way out. Oh, he did go with this move. Okay, he did play J14.
with time settings, wasn't it like 75 minutes or whatever? That's what people were saying in the last stream.
I have
1 minute
actually no
Byomi?
idea what the time settings are.
I know there's 1 minute Byomis and they have one person at 8 minutes left and one person at 24 minutes left. Well, it was Black at 24 minutes left
Yeah.
earlier, so they still have a decent amount of time to really. Oh, Edward's last name is Zheng. Oh, they put it in the wrong way. Okay, it is. Yeah. Yeah, so he did play the safe move. 75 minutes basic time. Okay.
Okay, now I know that Eric is going to spend an amount of time trying to figure the way out.
Right. Oh. Let me see.
Looking over at the stream, it says that Black should play this move. That's very interesting. So can Black do anything with this move? Can Black create enough liberties this way?
Actually, there's a shortage of liberty problem if White pushes through, isn't there, for White?
Yeah, because then Black can actually push out like this.
And even on the top, there's random Ataris and stuff, so there's a lot to worry about there.
Yeah, so technically White can't play this way. White would need to probably play this to be safe.
But then being able to push through.
I guess if Black was going to play this, White would probably need to play this way. But actually, maybe J14 is not as solid as we think, because what if...
See, he figured it out right away.
Oh, did he play it too?
No, I mean, they figured it out right away. It's like, oh, yep, there's the reason why.
Now if, because if he plays this way, right, it's not clear how White can cut off Black, right? Because if White pushes through here, Black just connects and Black can go out either side.
Is White able to honey over the top instead of extend back? It seems like that same. I mean, when after Black plays K14, can White honey? Sort of like sort of like the trading sort of thing here. Can you do anything here? You'd be giving up the. There's a lot of
Black can. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, actually, I think that Black is still going to be dead. I don't think this move doesn't work. I do think that Black's still not going to have enough
more
in the end. Yeah, even if.
More Audrey.
Yeah, there's a lot more Audrey. I think the thing about this is that there are more weaknesses that Black can exploit, and Black can get slightly more than he would have. But I think in the end, Black is still going to die. There realistically just is no way to create too many liberties. But it is very complicated. And I actually do think that Black will find J13. I'm pretty sure if he just spends a bit of time here.
Well, I think it's actually kind of a common type of move when you're trying to escape a situation. So it's definitely a move he should consider probably pretty quickly, even if he thinks about it for a long time afterwards.
Yeah, and I know that Eric is going to consider every single potential move here, unless he's like low on time. He had 24 minutes, according to one of the people doing the.
He has plenty of time.
Yeah. So he has his 24 minutes to think about this.
And I hope he doesn't spend all of those minutes, but I hope he spends enough that he can do it right. But I hope he doesn't spend all those minutes. Just
if
for us.
If he spends all of that time on this one move, I think it will be hard.
Yeah. 560. Yeah. 75-minute basic time and 560 Byomi. Yeah, so there's plenty of time. Like, I have a really hard time actually using all that time. Even when I was in playing at the Go Congress, I could barely use the this was it 90 minutes, 60 minutes. I don't remember anymore.
I had plenty
of time.
I had a game in the Masters that lasted 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We started cleaning up the stones, and everybody thought somebody was just like playing with the stones because nobody expected the game to be over. So somebody thought that we like. I can't remember who it was, but they're like, yeah, I thought somebody behind us was just like playing with the stones, and we were gonna turn around and ask them to stop. But it turned out that the game was over, and I saw you guys were cleaning up.
Yeah, I know that almost every day I would stand up and I'd be one of the first people walking out of the room. Because my opponents would play fast too. Like if I'm playing fast, they'll play fast. If I slowed down, they would slow down. So
Yeah, that was kind of how it was for my games too. You know, if I was playing fast, most of my opponents were playing fast. I think the only person that really took their time in, like, actually like fully used their clock in all of my games was probably Edward.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he did use his time, and it's so unfortunate I didn't use my time in that game because I did make a very bad mistake early because I didn't use my time, and then I could. Yeah, I gave him like a 15-point lead, and then I ended up actually bridging that gap to like only a 2-point lead in the end, and by the end of the game, but I couldn't win it in the end. It was very unfortunate.
Yeah, I sometimes I feel like if you think too much, you're definitely going to go. Yeah, you're definitely going to potentially play the wrong move because you're overthinking it. You're like, oh, what if they end up playing this or what's going on here? I don't know. And whenever I think too long, I end up playing something bad. So I only try to think a long time when it's just me sitting there reading out the situation and not trying to make like a big decision.
Yeah.
Decision making. Oh, you don't want to second guess yourself with the big decision making parts.
I think that's why I don't spend too much time thinking about things. Is like I prefer to have a lot of confidence in what I'm doing, so I don't get into that situation where I'm trying to make a multitude of decisions and then I have like 5 different moves in my mind and I have to decide which one's better, right? Versus where if I just go with the first one I thought of, it's probably not going to be that bad. Granted, it is good to have options and it is good to think about your moves, but that there are downsides to thinking for too long and trying to think of up too many moves. If you read a move and you're like, this one's only going to put me 1 point behind, you want to spend an extra couple seconds to find the one that's also going to put you a couple, like maybe like a point or 2 behind, or maybe find one that puts you 0 points behind, or whatever. That's great, but just not too much time going into it.
It's not a worthwhile use of your time for sure.
Yeah, to find like one move that's gonna make that big difference. I think I was talking to Ben about that, like, because I know in my game against him, not at Congress, but a game we had played previously, where he used, I think, like almost all his time in the opening, and he came out of the opening, and I was just like, yeah, can you justify the amount of time you spent there with that kind of lead? You know, it's like when you could have just played something really normal, and we both could have had an even game.
I think Ben's excuse, which we talked about, I'm calling it an excuse, but which we talked about at Congress quite a bit, was that he just enjoys it. He enjoys spending time thinking about the variations and going through it all, even if he knows they aren't necessarily bad. And so that's more why he's doing it. It's more so because he enjoys doing it rather than he's actually worried about really getting 1 or 2 points ahead in the opening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good that he enjoys it. But I do think from the like improvement aspect, you have to be able to find some fun in also in like going past those kinds of things, right? Because I know there are things that I enjoy. Like I enjoyed, all of the murder and death and killing of stones. But I wanted to improve, and I found that improving was more enjoyable to me than sticking to my style. That's not to say that I just no longer enjoyed my style, but that I wanted to improve, and in order to do that, I needed a difference. I needed a change of pace. So I had to sacrifice that part of my enjoyment for a different type of enjoyment that would also make me better at the same time.
Well, and then is there anything specific that you're doing that you feel is helping you the most? Since you said you're focusing on improving, right? So.
Oh yeah, thinking.
Just thinking.
Yeah. Thinking,
using your brain a little bit more.
Yeah, using my brain a little bit more. Also, just not trying to go for every kill that I see. Even if I am really good at taking stones and killing them, I do think that just stopping myself and being like, I don't have to kill these to win the game. I don't have to risk this situation as much as I would have before. So yeah. But yeah, I do think thinking more generally or understanding that there are options more than the one that I pick first. But yeah.
Apparently, you only go for every second kill instead of every first kill. Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
But someone said, is there no other game worth taking a look? Well, I believe basically every other game is sort of decided based on where we talked about it earlier. There's more moves we can look at, but there's still the same people who are ahead, it looks like.
Yeah. I don't even know how the other ones are going. Are they all going still, or? Okay, look, Black played. Okay, Black did find that move we talked about.
Oh, good. And now can White find the right move? Okay, so I know that White has less time, so they're not going to be able to think as much now. So hopefully they read it all out already.
Oh, wow. So there was a big swing in the graph.
Uh-oh, I gotta look.
Black flavor. So apparently J12 was not the correct move then. So there is a way for Black to escape from this, according to the graph. And I saw that AI wanted this move. So this probably seals them in. Oh, hello.
Yeah, we're on the game. Yeah, we're looking at it right now. We're just talking about the big swing.
Yeah, we were just.
We can hear ourselves in the background too a little bit.
But yeah, so the AI was showing that this was the correct way to respond, I guess, to keep Black dead, I would imagine. And this had the big swing, so there must be a way for Black to.
Yeah, just Black just connecting. Seems like they just connect K13. There's all the cutting points and all that Audrey there. It doesn't seem.
Oh, because now Black can play this move, and now when White pushes through, and White tries to split, it's a double Atari basically.
Yeah, and that's a bit painful there for White.
However, has to find.
Is there anything there?
Right? Like, can White do any other? Like, can Black do anything else? Like, would they be able to play this, for example? Probably not, though, huh? Because if White plays here, can can Black escape? So we would this Atari, this here, this here. It looks like they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, it looks difficult there. So yeah, Black still has to find the right move here, but yeah, just not quite enough for the breeze.
Now we get this situation, and it actually ends up being one liberty ahead.
Oof. A lot of Audrey.
So Black needed to find this move, and it looks like he did.
Uh-oh. So now
it looks like Eric might actually squeak out this win. Possibly. Who knows? I mean, obviously now it's in Black's favor, but maybe there's another swing that happens.
I guess we should see how much of a favor it is. Because on the stream, it says a 12.5, but it said not counting Comey, right? Then the number doesn't count Comey.
Right.
So it's a Comey, like a 6.5 sort of thing.
But if that's the case, then
the game's still close enough.
Leading by 12.3, but we add Comey to that. That means it's only a Black lead by maybe 5 or 6 points.
Yeah, and so it's still a close enough game, I think, to potentially have something else happen in the bottom left at least. But so White lost now. It's getting closer to White losing now. Yeah.
So I mean, either something big must happen here, or maybe these stones somehow live that I don't see.
And there's no way they live. I think. I mean, I don't want to be super positive about that, but there shouldn't be any way that they live. And there's no way to do any squeeze with anything. Still up in the air for humans, for sure. Yeah. I would say that, but we're still fairly confident that whoever killed in this situation should be the one who's ahead.
You know what? I bet I know what happens. I have an idea. So we say Black goes here, boom, 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 boom. we kind of get into the situation that now Black may actually have to sacrifice these stones, right?
Yeah.
And it is actually pretty close, right?
Mhm.
Now, that's not to say that Black has to sacrifice those stones. I have no idea. But when you think about it, that is the only thing that would probably swing it that close, right?
Yeah.
Because when we're just saying how like something's happened over here, I can't imagine a world where Black would lose enough here. Like even if it got to this situation where White cut off like all of these, Black like somehow got connected up, realistically, it still would not actually be that close. It would still be heavily in Black's favor. So it must be something to do with this top Black group getting cut off. That's how I would imagine it becoming really close.
Yeah. Well, there has to be some sort of trade since
Yeah.
if you can't kill it, you have to trade and get something out of it. So
Yeah.
it's the only real option, probably locally at least. I don't think there's anything else they can do anywhere else, though. So
that means we still have a very interesting game on our hands.
we still got a full game. Yeah. Wow.
Because it went from being over to pretty much a possibly big trade.
Well, this is why we were saying that even though they should be able to kill, they're not AI, right? So they're not always going to find the right move.
Yep.
Oh. But I'd be very upset as White here.
I would be absolutely upset as well. I would be very unhappy.
Because that is the first sort of instinct move, J12. To sort of continue to surround.
Yeah, I do think that White probably played J12 too quickly. But I mean, I guess they used all their time before that. Play J14.
Yeah, he always seems to find some random amazing move no one finds. Yeah.
Yeah, he really does. And then he brags about it.
Eric is pretty good at creating entertaining games. And we have a super fan of Eric in the chat, so that's good. Oh, there we go. Anyway, so they have to take the top in some way. So
I imagine it's going to go kind of the way that I thought. It is going to have to be a trade for the upper right. However, I think what's going to be really interesting is to see if Eric takes that trade, right? I mean, realistically, Eric's obviously going to say, killing N10 is like bigger than White killing like N16.
Yeah.
But is he okay as a human, right? Like is he gonna just accept that? If he tries to fight it, he could lose more.
Well, from what I think you guys were telling me at Congress was that he's really, really good at knowing if a trade is going to be a good one for him or not, right? That is one of his specialties.
Yeah, he's very good at trading off stones. However, Eric's type of player that will try to over do something, I think. I don't know a really good way to point it. Like, he probably recognizes that a trade needs to be made, but he may also get to a point where he overthinks it.
Yeah.
Okay, do I actually have to trade this whole thing away? I don't want to trade the whole thing away. Even though he is good at understanding. But if he thinks this is a trade, is going to be where the question is. Like, does he actually consider that this is a trade? And is he just going to accept that those stones are dead, or is he going to fight it? And I think that's what's going to be really important.
Oh, yeah. Well, apparently he's the same way in chess. He can overextend a little bit. I didn't know that. The chat knows everything.
Play chess, so...
Yeah, I don't... I used to a long time ago.
Apparently, yes, he does. He does play chess too.
Actually, when...
He also plays Penta.
Oh, you're his brother. Oh, okay. Mind of flights. Mind of lights. Mind of lights. Brother and sister apparently are in the chat.
Nice. That's cool.
But actually, the top is a little bit more
now you got the whole
complicated.
family here.
Is
And I
that-
don't think Giller.
I don't think that's true, but but the top is actually a little bit more complicated than it seems. Honestly, you actually can't capture it as cleanly as you would want.
Well, I would imagine, wait, why is it saying it's Black's turn?
Does it say it's Black's turn?
Yeah, it's only letting me click.
What the heck is going on?
Blackstone. Oh,
you're
I
on
know,
the Blackstone. Okay, I was like,
had the
what?
Blackstone hovered. Okay.
Oh, so he's tearing there. Okay.
Yeah, so this is gonna be the only move. So I guess the question is, will Black go greedy and kind of, what I assume is greedy. I just looked over to the AI and said this is the greedy move. Apparently AI disagrees. It's greedy.
Well, I was about to say he should connect because I think that means that White can't get anything in the.
Well, I mean that's the thing, right? It's like the graph's still
sneeze
really
there.
close, so we should assume that at most, at least this must die somehow,
Mhm.
right? That's what I would.
Oh, yeah, he has to get something. Yeah.
Because Black or White goes here, and what does Black actually play to make sure lives? Probably this, I guess, and then like this, and I guess it's not that easy.
And I guess there's a little bit of Audrey with the push through because R16 is probably going to end up being Sente.
But White does also have this. This push is also Sente.
Yeah.
Back to the stones, and you kind of get this situation.
But Black can sacrifice 2 stones if they're able to make life on the top, of course. But
yeah.
Yeah, so it's just complicated. You have to rely on Eric to read it all again.
But I wager that Black will die at the top.
Yeah. It might be good for Black to just Tanuki now and play a big move instead of worrying too much about that.
Well, there's no way that Black Tanukis yet. Black is not out of the woods. Black needs to 100% probably push out here.
Push out and...
Well, I mean, obviously this one first, and then White takes, and then Black pushes out. But I mean, the idea is that Black does need to push out. It is way too risky to not play a push out. Push out. I mean, like Atari is fine too, but I mean, like either way, Black needs to play a move towards this direction, 100%. That or connect here, and take that, and then you can Tanuki. But even then, even if Black were to play like a Tanuki, the biggest moves are probably going to be around here, right? Like. Except maybe you probably play this Atari instead. But I mean, either way, I think the biggest move is still going to be around there.
Yeah, it's possible. I just feel like White following up doesn't feel like it gains them too much. That's why I was thinking it would be fine to Tanuki.
You're still battling against 6 liberties. So I think I would be afraid.
I mean, Black has two ways to get the liberties, I believe, right?
Well, I mean, like, let's say Black Tanukis, right? Like, I guess where would be a big point? Let's just say here. White takes his stone. Well, now we know that this is no longer a battle and that Black's going to die 100% over there. And so White has their 2 ways, right? But the problem is that that's not really the thing is, like, you have to remember that this group here is probably going to get, like, thinned out, right? Like it's going to get pressured for liberties. And Black doesn't want that. Like, you have a lead now. Why would you want to risk that? And I think that's the thing, right? Yeah, and also I think another point to make is that if we do press Black and we get kind of like a wall here, that does give us another way to attack this.
Well, that's why I would want to play on the left side right now. That way, there's nothing they can attack, and even if they do try to surround and do stuff, that's what my thought was. But it doesn't really matter. I think anything should be okay.
On stream as well, we got the Baduk house members.
Oh yeah,
the Baduk house members. I see Paul. I see Katie. I see.
Oh, they're very excited.
Andrew. Yeah, they all look very excited.
Yeah, because it was looking bad for a while. So yeah.
Yeah. What are they doing?
I don't know. They're having fun now because they can see themselves on the screen. I'm sure that's what's going on. I guess Telly did win, which is what I was expecting because he was very, very far ahead.
Yeah,
He ended up capturing more stones on the top, so that was really nice. But it seems like
leading the dance party.
yeah, seems like all the other games seem to be fairly settled and no big swings anymore.
But the other game's not even over yet. For some reason, I thought we were like in the longest game, and it was the final one. But I guess we can kind of can't see people sitting down still. Okay, so that means the Zheng game is over, and the
Telly game is over.
Yeah, is that all? Update on like the Stephen Lin game.
Wait, we don't have that game up, I believe. So
we don't, but it's still really interesting to know who's winning that one.
It seems like Joel versus Abraham. It's still Joel that's ahead for now, ahead by a decent amount. Same amount basically since the very beginning. He's just staying ahead.
I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
They're not acting for the camera. They've been doing this for the last.
They've been doing it for the last. Oh man!
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
But did it swing again? Oh, it swung again for white.
Wait, it swung again for white.
Oh no! This Atari's bad, is what it's saying. Oh no! It's a purple move.
What I can't imagine what the AI is seeing. I mean, obviously, it's gonna go like this, right? So does this mean that black will have some sort of like lean on here, or white will have some sort of lean on here? But that doesn't make too much sense either, because obviously, as white, we're going to come back to make sure that this is dead.
Maybe, but what about the liberties? Actually, are the liberties still not good?
I have absolutely no idea.
Because there's the co, right? So if the Atari, they probably should be connecting or something, and then there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties again on the outside.
Yeah, it actually does look like there was another big swing because white actually just played K18 directly, which is I think really bad because this should just obviously be Sente.
Wait, what?
Because if white plays here, black obviously has to connect. So why wouldn't you connect that?
AI is never confused. Only the humans. We're confused.
Very strange for white to play this move immediately.
Yeah, now I'm confused. I think even if you needed another move on the top, connecting the center is going to keep black potentially weak. So you need to do that.
Yeah.
You can't block. Yeah. Wow.
It's the time pressure.
That doesn't feel right. Even in a minute, I would connect that 100% every time. Even if I lost the game, I'd be connecting that stone.
Yeah.
That's just there's certain things I think are like painful and
Paul and Katie are probably just watching the graph and it's just going up and down on their turn.
Yeah. Oh. This is sad. But the AI on Pentium 2 will be very confused, maybe. Fatigue and time pressure.
Actually, there's a streamer who uses like some AI from like the 1990s, I guess. Like there was like an AI back then in the 1990s called Nemesis.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool looking. I would never be able to do it, but it's interesting still to see somebody utilize it for whatever reason. But I do occasionally look in on that, and it is interesting.
Is it confusing as well?
Well, I'd imagine an AI from the 1990s is probably pretty bad.
I remember playing Many Faces of Go. I wasn't alive in the 1990s, but some of these were made earlier than and I think I played one other one that was like an online one that somebody uploaded, and it was an old one as well. And both of them, at the time I played them, they were stronger than me. But now it's like they're silly. They don't make any sense.
Yeah. I used to bully the Gajito bot, the AQ Gajito bot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I used to just play it a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a little too excited for this game.
No, I'm telling you, they're watching the graph just go up and down, and that's what they're watching.
I mean, how much are you thinking about this move if you were in this game? Would you capture right away here?
So I personally would capture right away. I think to me it's really obvious that white will probably still spend another move up here. In which case,
And there's
I
no
would
guarantee
probably
there's not
come
any
back and,
Audrey left too. So
yeah. So to me, I think it's an instant move, but I understand why. Again, they're probably thinking about it because it's such an important game, right?
I think I'd be thinking about it because they played K18. And I'm like, wait, you can't do that.
Exactly. Well,
I'd be like, whoa, what am I doing wrong? What's going on?
Well, I think that's what makes. I think that's what's really important in these tournaments is that when your opponent plays a move that you would think they wouldn't, instead of just saying like, oh, I read this, I already have a response for this. It's good to say, okay, well, they went ahead with my plan. So why are they going with my plan? If my plan works, this is bad for them. So why are they doing it?
Right.
So you have to consider kind of like you have to consider that. So yeah, so white will obviously come back and remove all the Audrey here.
But that feels so bad because now
Which
black can
is-
just attack the center. Even
Yep.
like they don't even have to capture. They could just you know
it's
what?
really
All right,
painful.
attach. They want to try to use that Audrey. I'm not sure how much is there, but they want to try to use it. Let's see.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to create some space, basically. They want black to throw in some moves here. So
they are worried about their center.
Things. Yeah. But I wonder if white is just considering the top as dead, or maybe they feel like they don't have time to actually go up there. I think it's very complicated.
Yeah.
However, we can actually see, again, kind of like a slight swing in the graph, right? Because it was at 20 points earlier, which means it would have been like a 12-point lead for black. But now it's saying it's a 12.4 lead for black. And if we add Comey, now it's only about a 5-point lead or less.
So
black.
my feeling then is that that strength in the center that white is getting, it was the ability for black to attack that center group that gave black the 20 points ahead.
So I actually think that it might have been this move that made that swing.
So
right.
black giving white probably life right now.
Yeah,
is making the swing. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I was really starting to worry.
Yeah, does white realize that black's not fully dead in the upper right either? Does black realize that? Does black realize that they have something up there? Because we know that let's go back here. Let's say white does something else. We do know that black can actually, make an eye here. It's not very clear, but it is an eye. Oh wait, no, not that move. I mean, there is an eye there, but like
there's eyes there, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, black has to play here first, because if black plays this first, you just die. But I mean, the idea is that if white isn't like very severe, there is a potential eye here, a possibility, that or the connect under.
So it seems
there is a lot of Audrey.
Yeah, it seems difficult, but if white's able to get enough strength in this, they don't have to worry about their center anymore, and they can go back and kill the top.
Yeah,
that would be my guess is what they're trying to do, because they tried to play a very forcing move. They didn't just jump and protect or make an eye. They played a forcing move. Usually you do that when you want to try to get Sente and strength at the same time. It's sort of a greedy idea, but sometimes it works.
Yeah.
But it is saying that it's closer again, so
45 minutes, because that's all I got left.
That's all I got left. All right, that should be fine. Should be okay. And you're in Eastern time, right?
Yeah, it's 8 p.m. here. I got work tomorrow, and I got a couple other things I got to do before I decide to sleep.
Stop discussing BS, play 018 and live. Well, I'm not playing. We're letting them play.
Yeah, we're not playing. We're watching people who are playing.
Yeah, we do think that living there would be really nice. So, but I don't think black can just let white capture those stones and live everywhere. That would be no good.
I don't think black can just sneak you away either.
Yeah, it's not possible right now. So yeah. Yeah, the empty triangle is always good as well, just like the Panuki. Oh, can you actually push again? That's annoying. Is there a wedge thing that's annoying there?
There is a wedge.
I don't think it does anything right now, so it's all good.
I don't know how much it matters though, because if white obviously comes through here, like
just lacking liberties.
Can white even like connect up with those stones? Because he's got Tari, him. That we realized earlier that the ladder doesn't actually work.
I would want to play the jump to sacrifice and force him to capture the stones, but
like that.
It's still awkward.
Yeah, and then you can do something like this. So it is still something interesting. So he is going to go with the sacrifice.
And he just wants to, as I said, try to get this Incente to get something else still.
Yeah.
But can black just let him have that one stone? That's probably not that big of a deal if he gets to live on the top.
Yeah, that's true. Black, I do think that black should probably try to come back towards the top side at some point.
Oh, it looks like that was a really bad move, and black should live on the top. That's what the AI says. All right, I agree.
Yep, yeah.
Ooh.
Well, again, I don't know if white realized that black was actually dead. So I guess the idea is that white wants to convince black that they don't need to go up there. But it does look like black realizes that he can live, and he goes back up towards the top.
Yeah. So now it should be a little bit more settled than it was earlier.
Yeah.
But
now
maybe
I'd imagine
swing,
the game is incredibly impossible. I mean, what more can happen?
Yeah, the clock is worth a ton in this game. Yeah, it might have been the clock. Like he might have thought that the top was settled enough because he didn't have time to read it, and he wanted to get something on the bottom, save his groups.
Yeah, I actually think email before dawn. I believe I think I said it when we were off the stream. I think he actually lost the game to the clock. He didn't lose on time, but he
lost because of the pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the time pressure. I think it was like really close, or that he was ahead, and then he ended up like his group ended up dying because of the time pressure, I think.
Oh no, black cannot pass and still win right now. 2 moves in a row for white would be too good, so it is black still has to be a little bit careful, but in general it should be fine.
Yeah,
passing would lose the top again. Yeah, exactly.
maybe after black makes life up there. I guess then again it still wouldn't matter, because then white could get back to like 2 moves at like 07 and then the second move at P8. And that would be a really good 2 moves.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like white is confident that maybe they can kill here. I said there's at least like a I wanted to say a ko, but it doesn't really work. I guess just pushing through should be okay.
Yeah, because we have to remember that white's group's also not connected. So if black were to, if white were to try to connect like this, it's obviously a little bit more complicated than that, because obviously there's this hole here. But the idea is that there is still a cut. So black needs to find a way to kind of utilize that cut to create a second die. Oh, I think I hear Devin.
Yeah, I hear somebody. No one else can hear them. It's all in our heads. But yeah, just pushing through. Did he just play that?
Yeah, he did. He did play the push through.
So now I do think it's finally should be settled.
Well, it's I guess
still
like,
complicated.
what if white plays here? How is black going to go about it? Right, so like black plays here, white connects, and then we have a double choice for black. Black's gonna have to come back and fix one.
I think one of the things you have to worry about here actually is R15 and connecting at R16. There's a bunch of cutting points and Audrey to potentially make eyes as well.
So I guess
I'd have to read that out, but I just don't know if it works.
You could do something like this.
Yeah, and then connect. And now there's too much to worry about, right?
Yeah. And then you just make sure you just connect up this one.
Yeah.
And then even if, white gets something like this, it's still...
Yeah, those two stones aren't really important. Yeah, just the two stones on the side are important.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so they're pushing down. Yeah, so he's probably able to cut there and just live. Yeah. Because the other cut, I think, was a little bit not as clear.
Yeah, that's right. I think this works too.
Best game of Go that I've ever witnessed. Come back, play H15 and then cut. Where's H15? Oh, okay, so cut off the white group completely. He can consider that in the future after he's alive, or if he has to kill. But white has to worry about that as well.
You could also do it like this.
Yeah.
This would also be fun.
It ends up being similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, I guess black could. I don't know. White could probably. It ends with the same result, right?
This is the first time I've actually watched my brother play Go, so it's also the best game of Go I've ever witnessed. Yeah, that's what I think about it. Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Cutting now would lose the capturing race. Yeah, there's still some stuff to worry about. But yeah, settle your group. You're ahead, even if you don't cut that off. And white's the one that has to worry, and that's what you want them to think about, just worrying about everything themselves. Yeah, and this should all work.
One, though. I do think this was probably our most interesting.
Yeah, the middle game was way more interesting. It's not as one-sided. It was going back and forth, right? It seems like the other games, when I look at them again, they're all sort of after one person got ahead, they stayed ahead.
Yeah. For round one, I thought the most interesting was Stephen Lin versus Eric Lee. For this one, I think it's this one. For round two, I think it's this one. I think this is the game.
Well, of course, we can't see the other one. The other one's probably amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stephen game, right?
Well, I mean, I guess I guess like it's email versus Stephen. It may not be.
Is he trying to squeeze here instead, like R13? Try to force him to capture? I don't think that works, but can that work?
He would have the eye, right?
He still has an eye, yeah. So I was wondering why you tried to push first, just trying to change things.
Unless like black connects here, and then white's got something. But I think that's very hopeful. Very hopeful.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like, because you can't connect. I feel like that's the only way to try to do anything here.
Yeah.
The other Atari doesn't work, of course. Yeah, I don't know. There shouldn't be a way for it to swing.
Very soon. Oh, he did play he did attempt. Wait, and according to AI, it actually wanted black to connect here.
But it still says a huge lead for black, so it's all good.
Well, he didn't play that. He took the stones. But I'm curious what black could have done from this point, right? Unless it's like the Liberty race that they're going for, right? Maybe it's because of the Liberty race.
Oh, I guess it's giving white more points than if you play the other way.
Yeah.
As well, so I don't know. Something.
Well,
there.
I mean, this way white gets to live. I think.
Well, there's still a cut.
I'd probably just want to come back and live and call it a day, honestly.
Well, can he kill the corner now? That's a good question.
I don't think so. I mean, because you can go here and white just makes an eye.
And then black can connect and kill the stones and make some points on the side, right? That seems good. Seems good. He doesn't have to make an eye.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be afraid.
No, I like it seems easy to read, so it should be fine. We need another swing, right? One more.
One more swing?
That's too many already, honestly.
Yeah, this game's been a conundrum.
It was 43. Yeah, it does want black to extend instead of make the eye, of course. I mean, it's a simple move, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, the AI is always going to play the best.
but 43 points. That makes me feel like something's dead instead of.
These guys are some serious swingers. Sadly.
Yeah, serious swings. An even number of swings, please. That'd be nice.
On the bright side, both players are now in Byoyomi.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be very nice.
That means we're not going to get a move every 20 minutes. I'd imagine, though, that White probably recognizes that this game is...
probably over at this point.
Yeah.
Black is too thick everywhere, it seems. And even the only spot that they can attack has an easy escape route towards the center, so there's nothing really there.
Okay, so he chose to simply live. I think that's the smartest decision. I don't think
no, way
there's
too
reason
passive.
to get any more complicated.
Yeah.
Hey, look, there's another point swing, but it doesn't actually matter.
See, that was 10
like
points.
Yeah.
It's a terrible move. I told you, it's terrible. When you're this far ahead, it doesn't really matter too much, but it does feel like the other way is easy to read too. Just S15, even if they push.
Yeah, you can S15, and obviously, obviously White's gonna get here.
Yeah, well, even if they try to kill you though with P17, you can connect in the center at that point, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. And if they capture, it's gonna be fine.
No, I mean, I guess you could take it at this point. I would just take this and then let White live, and then play like that. Either way, it's probably fine. It
doesn't really matter too much. It's only AI thing there. Honestly. Or you want to rub salt in the wound. You're like, I can destroy you even more. Sword White guy. Oh, White went over to the left side. It was the bottom side, I guess. That makes sense, but I don't think it's good enough anymore. Yeah, because Black just blocks there. That's a huge gain. Because now the top isn't alive for White on both sides, right?
Yeah.
So White has to be very careful.
Are the other games still going?
I think they're all. They should all basically be done except for. No, that looks like where's that one? I think I may have closed one on accident, or I moved it somewhere. But I think most of them are gone. Most of them are done. Actually, check on Joel game. That's what I was.
Yeah, who won between Joel and?
Yeah, they're still playing. It looks like.
Oh, they're still playing.
But it looks like Black's doing okay. Still, Black should be pretty far ahead.
Yeah, I think this one's. I think this one is over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a lot that White can do. I mean, the fact that Black Tanuki this is already like enough to realize that it's an almost impossible.
Mm-hmm. I think every game is finally finished technically, unless something happens in the other game, but Joel's game. But I think it should be fine.
Ahead by 30 points. 30 is not a bad spot to be in. For who?
Bad spot for somebody, yeah. Is there any possible mistake anywhere that could happen? I don't. It doesn't seem right. Oh, looks like they're connecting on the top to make sure.
I think even if White, somehow surrounded this and got that. The thing is, I don't even know if that would actually be enough of a point swing. I mean, obviously saying that Black would obviously get some kind of compensation for it. They wouldn't just get that for free. I don't know if it would be enough. It's a really hard game for White.
Yeah, I think it's not quite enough.
Even, maybe.
Which is funny because I said White had a really great position.
Is a good idea.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, and just play on the left now. Yep. Just protect the last part and game over. I like that idea.
Yeah, because I mean, when you think about it, the only area left on the board that White can realistically attack is going to be the left side.
Yeah.
Kirby Baduk says, and don't run out of time. That's true.
Oh yeah.
True.
Yeah, that is the biggest swing that could happen at this point, running out of time. I don't know how I would feel if I ended up like really far behind and then my opponent ran out of time in the pro qualifier or something. I don't know if I would feel like I would deserve the win. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. It's because time management is very important. But just personally, like I'd be like, oh man.
I guess personally, I would definitely like feel bad for my opponent.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'd probably be like, time is part of the game. It is what it is.
Especially
plus
important.
It's not really. It's not
game.
like you can. Yeah. Plus, it's not like you can really change it anyway. It's not like you know what, TD. I decided that me winning by time wasn't good enough. I need to give the win back to my opponent.
Not in something this big, at least. You can do that in a small tournament, whatever.
So White clamps. I assume he clamped because he wants to try to kill Black in the center still. Very incredibly hopeful.
Yeah, very optimistic. Optimistic player, yeah.
Plus, you would think if White actually wanted to do something around here, it's kind of weird to play this move.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strange to play this move and then suddenly believe that you're going to kill this.
And there's no way to kill the center anymore, right? Because it seems like there's way too many liberties there.
Yeah, there are definitely currently too many liberties. But
So
that would definitely be the last thing that White can try to do.
The very last, yeah.
The very last.
But he needs quite a few moves in order to do it, though. Does Eric wear Crocs? That may be the key to his power. Oh, no.
Eric does not wear Crocs.
Oh, good.
No.
I was hoping he didn't. Oh, this is actually a little bit annoying because it looks like that elephant's eye threatening to cut off the top again and cut off more stones. And then there's, the Hani behind like he played. There's too much.
Too many weaknesses, yeah. The lead is growing.
So are you excited that Eric ended up potentially winning this game? I'm saying potentially. He could still run out of time, but
oh, I'm always happy when Eric and Jay win their games. Definitely the two that I'm cheering for. I hope Jay wins the rest of his games, and I hope Eric wins all of his games.
Now they're arguing at the Baduk house, it looks like. Some heated conversation. Nothing extreme, but yeah.
They're saying,
funny.
They're probably talking about Andrew's lack of dance moves.
Maybe. Yeah, Zchen will be hard to beat. Oh, so how does this tournament formatted and working? It's a round robin and then the two from the group, or is there some other way of doing it? How are they? The rules, I guess. Top two from each group. Okay.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like a cross play. Like the first place on Group A will play the first place in Group B, or second place in Group B, and then the first place in Group B will play second place in Group A.
Okay, so there are going to be more.
I said that correctly.
More chances for people, even if they do get like second place or something. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool then.
It's going to be very interesting for sure.
Yeah, Jay says, obviously I'm playing Zchen.
Jay could definitely pull off an upset. Play the most genius moves and then win.
Yeah, I think it's entirely possible with his style of play. That's why I believe that was a recommendation from a professional. It's like if you know your opponent's stronger than you, you make it the most complicated game ever because anyone can make a mistake. It makes it 50-50 basically.
Yep.
And Tongja sort of does that already naturally. So
Yep.
Seems entirely possible.
I think this move is very hopeful, because Black could just decide again at any moment, I have enough points, I don't need to do anything stupid, I just win. I think this move is just prolonging. The white's kind of hoping that black will, come back here. And if they do that, then white can be like, aha, I've cut you off. But again, it doesn't actually matter.
Because I think
Yeah,
that's just no
it's
good.
just fine. It's just enough liberties. It's an I. Because as you can see, like AI says, black should just ignore this completely. Come back and play this. Because
Just
white
play
kind of
something else completely.
recognizes, the AI obviously recognizes that white can just, black can just live inside that or make enough liberties. Personally,
Apparently-
though, I think. Go ahead.
All right, so apparently Jay said that his kryptonite is Eric's large database of knowing correct moves. Maybe Zichin doesn't have that. Should be fine.
That or maybe Zichin has that on like a higher level.
Oh, it's possible. So he's just gonna cut and simplify everything right away.
Yeah. So black did decide, I just want to connect it up, force this and then maybe white gets to come back and go here. Which is unfortunately still not going to be enough by any stretch, but that would probably be the follow-up, I'd imagine.
I believe Zichin's been around for a very long time, right? He's been teaching and doing stuff for quite a while and playing.
Yeah, Zichin's been around for a long time.
I think he's even been streaming for a decent amount of time. He just does it randomly.
When I started Go in 2006, he was around. So
Yeah.
I think he was on the account like Dark Mage back then though.
Okay, so
And he was just
Joel-
a 6-on. He was just 6-on. So.
Joel did officially win now.
Oh, nice.
Apparently, someone said that.
Very interesting.
He did well.
I did kind of think that Abraham had a chance, or a really good chance, but I guess. But I mean, after that opening, I guess it was probably almost impossible to come back at that point.
It's still possible because of how early, but it just depends on your opponent, right? I think against someone like Jay, who likes to continue to make things complicated, it's probably entirely possible to bring the game back in, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's really difficult about it is it was the points, the size, the sheer size of which that corner got black to the lead of. It was a very big lead in the opening, and it's very hard to come back from those. Especially if your opponent just knows how to play simply. If your opponent knows how to play simply and avoid complications, even if you do make it complicated, it's still really difficult.
Yeah, that's my favorite way to just sort of go about a game is you get some sort of nice lead early on, and you can just sort of, it's the Li Cheng-ho idea of just sort of let them have what they want and you win anyway. It's very demoralizing. Oh yeah, so is Zichin Tartrate? Someone said that?
Zichin is not Tartrate, no. Tartrate.
Okay, so I didn't think he was, but someone said it in chat.
Tartrate was Kim Myung-won. He was a 9
Oh, okay.
His identity was hidden for quite some time.
Or maybe they're just talking about KGS stuff in general, looks like.
They are talking about KGS stuff.
Okay,
Tartrate
good.
is from Tartrate was the online Psy. He was like the online version of Psy. He was really strong, almost impossible to beat back then. In fact, the loss that he suffered on KGS, which was his final game on KGS, he did not play any more games after his loss. He actually was winning his final game versus the player called Charm, and he ended up actually losing on time. And that was how that was how his era as Tartrate ended. He was very unhappy with that loss. He even said after the game that he was winning and he was really unhappy with it.
I could actually imagine Sai losing on time in an online game. So that actually would work. I think that would happen.
Yep. And but people still didn't know that he was Tartrate after that. It took a couple months before his identity
coming out,
became known. An admin of KGS actually knew who it was, but said that he wouldn't tell people but that he would confirm if somebody guessed it right. And Alexander Dinerstein, after months of looking into it, said, I know who it is. Based on my assessment and all the information that we know, this is who it is. It's Kim Young-won. And then the admin who knew, Dr. Straw, confirmed it.
Well, that's kind of funny. I know KGS has a lot of good lore that not many other servers have in comparison.
Yeah, and I'm so lucky that I started in 2006 because I got to be a big part of all of that. So
you started when? 2006?
I started in 2006. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I started too late.
It was just as Tartrate was leaving Go, though, leaving the Go scene. So I did start slightly after that, but I still got to be a huge part of when KGS was still really big and there was still a lot of lore.
Yeah, I started at the very end of the KGS lifespan. I was in 2014.
Yeah, I quit just in I had my final game in December of 2013.
So I took your spot real quick,
quit. Huh?
So I took your spot. That's all.
No, you took my spot, yeah. Though I did end up quitting the whole year before that. I quit in 2012. But I had my final game at the end of 2013. It was a Rango game, I remember. But quite interesting. Quite interesting.
Yeah. Ooh. So I like that he simplified everything here.
I'm actually not even sure what Black is doing. I mean, what White is doing at this point.
I don't know either. Let's see what it says on the screen. Yeah.
Apparently the lead has shrunk, right? Like
because Eric's playing the simple moves to end the game instead of getting further ahead, which is more human than what the AIs are trained for right now.
Yeah.
And that's what we all do now. Is you just you don't keep pushing unless it's like a really close amount. Like at 6 points, maybe you can push a little bit, but
yeah.
White does not resign, but I imagine this might be a resign sequence. Maybe.
Possibly. I assume he's still trying to look for something.
Yeah, so he's playing like end game.
I do think Edward is a resilient player.
So he's going to potentially try every last thing. But it does seem.
But I will say,
like too much.
It is the professional tournament, right? Like it is the tournament that decides whether you become a professional or not. And when you think about it, how important that is, this is probably the hardest tournament to resign in, right? Like you don't want to resign,
yeah.
Yeah.
And he lost the first round. I think it said 0-1 and 1-0. Was that what it was, or?
I believe Edward lost the first round. Who did he lose to? I can't remember. I can't even remember who he played in round 1 now.
He played Kenny. Oh yeah, Kenny. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
Oh, he lost to Kenny.
Okay.
Interesting. When you're 40 points behind the time design. Well, again, I don't want to justify like playing on and on and on and on. But it is one of those life-changing events, So I kind of get it. So I wouldn't complain. And I know I've had a conversation about this before with Eric, and I can tell you he probably also doesn't mind and probably respects the continuation, and probably completely gets it. Because I know I had a game with Eric a couple months ago where he kept playing on and on. And I did make a Liberty counting mistake, and I was absolutely devastated. But I understand, that it is his time. He has the time. He can resign whenever he wants. Even though the event, but whatever we were doing, wasn't as important as this event. But if you can do it in something that's not that important, then obviously you're going to do it in something that is life-changing.
Yeah, well, like Bias said, more reasonable here than in a random online casual game.
Yeah.
And when I'm actually playing games, I don't really care at all. Like if my opponent wants to continue playing forever, I think that's actually perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It
do
depends
get
a little bit.
annoyed
Like if they throw
by
it and play like really stupid moves, it's like, well, obviously they're trying to waste my time. But if they're just trying to look for something and you could tell that's what they're doing, it doesn't bother me really.
Yeah. Well, I do get annoyed by like the Fox players.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when the Fox player, they're just trying to waste your time. They're just trying to make you resign and walk away.
I do feel like they're just often wasting my time. However, I don't think Edward is just.
No, he's not doing that. No.
I think he is trying to find a way out, and that he is trying to win. And I do think that in a tournament like this, any way you would win, or could win, is acceptable. And I mean, obviously, you don't want to go like hitting your opponent over the head with a gold ball.
Hey, but his time will run out. No, that's unacceptable. Yeah.
But no, I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's perfectly fine. I would definitely not have any issues with Edward. Like,
but also it could be like if you count the board, like if we count the board ourselves, it might not be as big of an obvious difference that the AI is showing.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Actually,
maybe that count isn't
as clear.
Yeah,
but it looks like it should be a little bit clear, but it might not be as clear as we think.
Especially when they're playing, to the players that are playing who have Yomi, the stress of the game. There's so much going into it. Even though I do think that it is obvious to like us who are onlooking, it might not be as obvious to the players that are playing.
I think it's way easier when you're just watching for sure.
And he might recognize that he is behind, but maybe not recognize that it's that big of a loss.
I know I've had a couple games where I feel like I can just squeeze out just a couple more points. I can probably win the game, and then I check later and it was like 20 points behind. I was like, oh, I thought I could squeeze out 5 points and maybe win. So let me play this end game, and my opponent backs off, and you're like, okay, maybe this is possible, right?
I'm absolutely awful at counting, so I can tell you that happens more often than I'd like. I'll even be like, it'll even happen when I'm streaming. I'll be talking confidently. Yeah, my opponent's move not so great. They're behind, blah blah blah. And then later on, I'll realize like I'm actually like 5 to 10 points behind. I'm like, oh, when did they come back? It just happens, right?
Yeah, it does happen. Especially when you're when streaming, it's easier to be distracted.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you don't realize that a move is as good, but also when you're playing online, sometimes you get that feeling like, oh, I've already won.
Yeah.
For some reason on a real board, I didn't actually feel that way. Like I didn't feel like, oh, I've already won. I don't care anymore. Like, I can play whatever. Someone put a variation.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter.
Somebody put a variation and I hovered over it. At this point, I feel like it's black just trying to kill more. Right, because this looks like it might be. It's alive right now, but it could die.
There's a. Yeah.
But I do think it is time that I start wrapping up. Devin, if you're here.
Yeah, because you have to go here.
Okay. Yeah, I do need to go.
What about flipping the bird? That's different. That's way different. No flipping the board or flipping the bird. At least while the camera's on you. Anyway.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Officially joined the party. Cool. Yeah.
Party.
So, I mean, do you think we should? Is it good to wrap up here? Do you think we should?
I do think almost all. I don't think any of the other games are going anymore. Still.
Yeah.
And this game's basically over.
Right.
This one should be over. Yeah.
Do we know the Emil versus Lin result?
I wish we did, because I'm also very curious who won.
Gotcha. I talked to the on the ground EJ team just now, Chris Garlock, and he's actually had to step in to record for the Yoder Zheng marathon, as he said. So
yeah.
But this is both these guys play long games. And Edward has played in my turns in the past, and pushed for longer time settings. So this is a long time setting, and this is usually where he thrives. But he's not going to give it up. You guys were already talking about it. Well, great. So I guess we'll wrap it up here, and then if look at the standings when I post tonight. If they're crazy results, you'll find out. And of course, the game record is on.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, I do think that I think the results have already been pretty crazy. I think a lot of the games have already gone not the expected way that people would think.
True. This is exactly what I was hoping for, to be honest. Is like if it's just every round someone stronger and then they just dominate. That's boring, right? It's not fun. So I think we've had some really exciting matches, which is I mean, that's Go, right? That's the gets our heart, as Go players, gets our heart racing. And for those, if anyone's watching that is like new to Go, this is the joy. You saw the excitement in the Baduk House. It's kind of, I hope hopefully you guys like that kind of Baduk House cam.
It was funny. Yeah,
I went downstairs and I saw them just going crazy, and I was like, oh man, I gotta put this on camera. So
are they watching the game or?
Yeah, they're legitimately watching the game.
Is that what they're jumping up and down about?
They're saying things like we're yodelers, and they're like making yodeling.
Oh,
and,
that's great.
And then they're like, they're pointing out empty triangles, and like, how can that be? Look at me, because I always tell them empty triangles are bad. Like, look, Devin, look, empty triangles, it worked. Stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a blast down there. Yeah, and if people that don't know about Baduk House, you can check out house.baduk.club, and you can kind of read about that program and even apply if you're interested. And of course, we put on fun events like this every 2 months. We're doing different streams. It just happened that this stream overlined with this event, and so it's like, well, let's stream the pro qual. So reached out to the AGA and the EJ team and got permission to host this and broadcast this, and yeah, we're doing the thing. But we couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you so much, Paige and Triton. Had a wonderful time watching you and hanging out. I hope everyone in the chat also had a blast. Yeah, we'll resume tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time or 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. And yes, there are other time zones, but let's just leave it at that instead of listing them all. And you can do some mental math if you're not in that time zone. But I mean, tune back in. It's going to be super fun. We have Albert Yen and Justin Tang commenting tomorrow. So that should
be really good.
Yeah, I mean, two super strong players, and they know all these go players too. Everyone, you guys know them. It's fun. It's a community, right? So we can share that with the viewers. Peko Chaya, flyover time zones. That's right. Yeah. I'm in Ohio, so I'm a flyover state, but luckily not a flyover time zone. The other thing is, the game. All the game links are on OGS, but they're currently posted on BadukClub on the PQT page. You just go to the name and click on the name, and then we'll have the win-loss up there ASAP once we know all the final results as well. So Torbug says thanks for streaming. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for watching. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna awkwardly just walk behind me and like click the thing to transition. The people are having too much fun downstairs, so I have to do that. But so you could say like another 10 seconds worth of words, and then I'll cut you out.
You gotta set up so you can do it on your phone. I know it's possible.
It's 100% possible. In fact, I can do it from this computer too. There's a really easy setup. I'm just we're trying a lot of new stuff. I don't know if you've noticed. So it's it's exciting. It's cool. The music, by the way, custom made music by one of our local Go Club players, Andrew and Andrew Rush. And so I mean that's super cool. Yeah. Hopefully it's been enjoyable in the background there, just subtle, but kind of gives you a little emotional feeling of calmness. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna go do the thing.
They're all pointing at Andrew in the
there you go. He's in the house. Yeah.
There we go. Very good.
All right. Well, bye everybody.
Yes. Bye. I had a lot of fun. Yes, it was enjoyable to do.